Up here, we're going to get into a little bit more on the economic side of things once again with Frank Caberna coming up in about 45 minutes. He'll give us a look at what has happened over the past couple of days, what we should look forward to going into the end of this week. Remember, we get GDP, the final Q3 reading of GDP coming up. We get PCE at the end of the week as well. So still some key inflation-related data to come before we get into the holiday. Remember, the market is closed on Monday next week, so enjoy that. 0.4 for the S&P 500 right now, 0.3 for the NASDAQ. Oil hanging out, trying to hold on to a pretty positive day. I wanted to mention some crypto. First off, we had quite the reversal happen this morning on Bitcoin. We did get above 43,000, right back down to 42,000 right now. So ugly red candle forming on the daily time frame, but still obviously inside this range, at the top end of the range for BTC. But some of the individual related crypto stocks not performing as well as we thought they were going to today. And we're talking about in the pre-market, a couple of things that are still quite positive. Tesla, one of those. Nice move to the upside this morning, took out briefly that high from yesterday and then has kind of hung out around that 255 for most of the day. Boeing we'll get into in a couple of minutes here. We'll touch on why it's up, but a nice day for Boeing, 1%, right back to last week's high. It did reject that, bit of a pullback right now, but still pretty positive on the day. There's Tesla, 1.9 to the upside. Some of the discretionary type names performing pretty well today. Caterpillar, Deere, some of the consumer discretionary names, GE, another one of those, higher on the day as well. These have kind of given up the gains, though. We're all Procter & Gamble, Coke, and Pepsi all higher to start, but back downside. Home Depot, a nice day, 0.5% to the upside. Banks showing all kinds of strength so far today. Some of the big tech names participating. We're seeing some negativity other places, including NVIDIA 1.8, but AMD, Intel, and Qualcomm all offsetting that. So as I was mentioning, let's jump into a few things we were discussing. If you're with us in the pre-market this morning, we started with Apple today. Apple was on watch coming off of that news yesterday that was kind of interesting in the sense that they're not going to be able to sell their latest models of the watch. Both the Apple Watch 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra going to be put on pause. Sales going to be put on pause until they come up with a software fix for this patent dispute that got resolved yesterday with that MASI company. But Apple ends up being a bit of a nothing burger today. Dead flat essentially here, guys, for Apple, 0.12.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, thanks, Brendo. Wow, pretty, I don't know, like the day doesn't seem like it's moving around that much, but there are a few names that are moving around. So I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us one more time, and a big shout out, of course, to Sharif and Adara for that midday show. I know was very popular and very positive there today. Okay, Apple versus the world, I guess. I was looking at this earlier this morning, and honestly, I'm not even going to zoom this out. Well, I will to show you guys, but it's at the same levels we were talking about this morning, man. I mean, here's Apple, opened up 930 right here at 196.35, made the move to 197. I guess you could have shorted that off of the pre-market high, and you are right now bouncing around the pre-market bottom. So relatively light trading on Apple today. I'm not, you know, I've got the Apple Watch. My families have the watch. I like the story for Apple as far as why it's gone down, and I actually like the fact that it's not going down that much. I feel like whenever it's a technology issue like this, where potentially they're using different software that maybe they're not licensed for, they'll be able to figure that all out. Apple's a cash machine. I mean, for them to not be able to pay either a royalty per watch sold or something like that, or just get it figured out where this technology is going to be, I like Apple here, and for me, it's buy the dips. And I think that 190 is more reasonable. I have to say something to everybody here because I trimmed 5 positions during lunch. I trimmed some Snapchat. You want to go to the double shot? Maybe, Ramin, if you want. Yeah. I trimmed some Snapchat. I trimmed some SoFi. Okay. I trimmed some Uber. We talked about that. Well, I was always going to do that after the ad. After the ad. Yeah. That was for sure.
That's fair.
QSR, which is Tim Hortons.
Really?
You should see these stocks. Look at QSR. Hold on a second here. So I've held this for a very, very long time, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh my God, where are we? I was just trying to. So QSR is quality service brands. They also own Popeye's Chicken and Burger King.
Okay.
So they came in and took out Tim Hortons a long time ago, and now Tim Hortons is not a private company. They were always public. They were THI, but they were their own symbol. And I actually got involved in QSR because I was a Tim Hortons shareholder that got flipped over. But look at this rally. Just in the last 2 months, from October bottoms of $60 all the way back up into here. So trim that. And then the other name, which is the exact same thing, and I was actually nervous about McDonald's. I thought a lot of people wouldn't be loving it after those GLP drugs. Look at this move down on Eli Lilly. You can see the same thing on Pepsi, on Coca-Cola, on a lot of these names. I don't think Chipotle had the biggest move down, but on diet worries. You know, obviously McDonald's is going to be one of those things that if you can control cravings, then maybe McDonald's might get it. I still think McDonald's wins, but we see that. I was just looking at this. We had that pullback just in the last couple of days up to 295, 296. So I did sell some today in and around 290. Just on a pullback, a little nervous that we could get even a little bit lower. So trying to raise up some capital and some cash for some of these positions that I think are going to come back here a little bit. And I talked about that earlier. Who's going to sell to pay tax right now? I feel like selling either is going to be happening either at the beginning of January, maybe towards the end of January, but I still think that there's some money here. Not only is there money on the sidelines coming into the market, but I just feel like a lot of these wins have to be taken, then reset your positions, right? So a lot of hedge funds and all that, they'll sell, then they'll get a new position, and then when that goes another 20%, then they can claim that they have that 20% on top.
Okay.
You see, so there's some different accounting situations there, but yeah, so far so good. I like Apple up here. I think we'll buy more on dips, but I am raising cash.
Yeah, I think that's a good look there, Sean. Kind of trying to see where people are trying to save on their taxes and kind of position for the year going into such a strong end of the year, right? Apple, kind of going back to it here, we defined a little bit of a trend in the morning that's been happening over the past couple of weeks since the start of December. Strong move into the 200 test, but you can see clearly that we've been making higher lows, and even aggressive selling kind of comes into the bottom of this trend and holds pretty well here. But today, yeah, I was looking for that 197, didn't really come in. It came in the pre-market, and then just to stop just shy of it during the midday, I guess around 11 o'clock, but comes right in. Hasn't really gone too far away from this opening range either. Just kind of trading sideways, pretty much is a good way to put it. Still well within the trend as well. So maybe whether or not we test the lower end of this trend today or tomorrow, I'll definitely be watching for that as just the behavior over the past couple of weeks. Whenever it does dip down into this trend, there are usually buyers. So I'm just going to be looking for more of the same if that is the case there.
All right, let's talk about Tesla. I wanted to show this chart real quick. We mentioned this early on today, but here's the NASDAQ 100. 54% year to date. Shout out to Benzinga for the chart of the day. Right back to, all-time highs for the NASDAQ 100, but 54% year to date. Thanks in a lot. You know, we've talked about AI, we've talked about NVIDIA, talked about Apple. Tesla is another one. 1.6% today. We were discussing some of these raises coming through at their Nevada facility. I mean, it's not a stock moving type of story, but a positive one anyway.
Well, it's good. They're getting ahead of what could be a major headwind here with the unions, because the UAW president, Shawn Fain, has made no bones about the fact that he wants to go after the Teslas, the Toyotas, the Hondas, and he wants to get a collective bargaining agreement for his union with their employees as well. So Tesla jumping on that opportunity, raising the $20 an hour wage to $22. Those making $30.65 are going to jump to $34.50, and then the people within that range of $26.20 to $30.65 are also going to jump into that $34.50 as well. Brett, no, they've already had labor issues in Scandinavia, so not a far-fetched idea. It can find itself over here.
Yeah, back to basically yesterday's high here for Tesla, guys. They're trying to anyways.
Yeah, what a move on Tesla. Kind of retracing yesterday's move. I was looking short. Quite a strong sell-off yesterday. pushing into 260 and a straight fade underneath the Vwap. Doesn't even spend too much time there at the Vwap. And yeah, strong fade today, but sorry, yesterday, and then coming in today just wipes the whole move as if nothing happened. But that 260, those sellers kind of coming and stepping back into that move here is definitely interesting. Maybe we're building up into that 260. So far, as of yesterday, or as of Friday, no, yesterday. I thought it was Monday for a second. But as of the past 2 days worth of information that Tesla has printed, we're pretty much holding above this 253. That was resistance, now acting as support. A little bit of a flush yesterday, but we reclaim coming in today. But those 260 sellers still pretty much there as of right now. But it seems like we are building up for higher highs there.
So I'll talk about Tesla. I've just been chopped up a little bit in that name. I'm a little bit off of it right now. I will go over to it in a minute. It's just like we were long a firm down here at 46.90 on that pre-market break. It's now 51.50 and still going. I just want to tell everybody I'm going to take this long. 51.50 break, I'm just going to take it. I feel that we've now bounced off the 50 period a bunch of times. Seems like it wants to hold this area. Maybe this is the new bottom, 51. I feel like that's worth taking a shot. Let me put a bid. I just want to talk about this because I'm going to be in it. So let me put a bid down here around 50, 80 or so. See if we can catch that if it does come back in a little bit. And then we'll use like 50-50, maybe this 50-40 as a break if we do continue to get really beat up. But I do like a 51-50 break on that one. Okay, so that's a firm, of course. And what a great move there with the Walmart. Someone in the chat just said like a firm possible buyout candidate. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, if it's going to go like that and it's successful, I mean, Amazon, Walmart already have deals with these guys. I don't know about a buyout, but I could see a levered buyout by, maybe somebody like, not like a Nelson Peltz, but like that kind of a fund coming in and maybe taking a share in a firm and then trying to sell it. Okay, so anyways, just right into here. When Tesla came back in, it was one of the strongest names. And I was actually talking about this with Obi. It came back in here into Vwap, and I'm buying that all the time. So when it came back in, it was also dancing around this 56. When we lost it, we were able to get out. So back and forth there, still down. Then once we broke lower, I was like, okay, I'm guessing now the short is right. So we went short at 255.50 and got out there 254.75, just a piece, and then averaged all the way back up before it finally broke us out again at 256.50. So it's going to look like we didn't lose overly in there, but it's his last little short. This was fine. That was back and forth. But going short there, we wound up losing about $1. Maybe a little bit less than that, but still too many shares, not too many shares, but too many averages in there on Tesla. I'm not in love with this stock until we get back to the upside, or we can buy the very dips down here of 254. So let's not really play in the middle. I think that's exactly what we're doing now with Tesla. It's right at Vwap. Let's leave it alone. We had it on here as a huge long down at 250, but we never got there. So we're going to hold off on Tesla and just talk about Google, which is up next.
Day highs here almost for Google as well. 137 coming into play, still 0.8 to the upside. I mean, there wasn't much as far as an actual news catalyst this morning. This one maybe even negative, if anything, but $700 million settlement coming through in the antitrust case. When it comes to the Play Store, there's going to be a payout. So if you purchased an app in the Play Store between August 16th, 2016 and September 30th, 2023, you too could receive up to $2 entire, Sharif. It's
$2 or more, Brendo. So there's going to be a lot of money out there for you guys. No, we're kidding, of course, depending on how much you spent in the Play Store. So here's how it works. $700 million allotted, $630 million of those dollars are going to be for people to be paid back that spent money in the Play Store. $70 million is going to go to the states that they're going to distribute based upon how they want. The remedies here are basically expanding the ability of the app and game developers to provide consumers an alternative billing option for in-app purchases. That was one of the questions Brendo had this morning. Also, as a part of the settlement, it will simplify the user's ability to download apps directly from game developers and app developers, so you don't have to go into the Play Store.
I got all excited because I've obviously purchased something in the App Store over that time period, but I read this after the fact. So the settlement includes 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and that's about it. So we don't get barred, and we also don't get included in this settlement, unfortunately.
Always getting rinsed.
Yeah, I mean, if I would just do some basic math here, Brendo, I mean, $630 million, that's it. Like, that's not a lot allotted there, and I feel like most Android, I mean, if you've downloaded anything, you've probably, you know, like, I don't know how they're dividing that up. If they've sold, like, you know, $1 billion worth of apps, then maybe it's what percentage are you in that? Like, if you've only spent $10, then you're like 0.0001. So then maybe out of that, maybe then that's the percentage of the 650 or whatever that you'll get. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, once you've gone through 300 million people, I don't know how many Android devices there are even in North America, you know? So I don't know, I think $2 is probably, I feel like that might be the high side of what they give out. All right, you want to talk about Google? I didn't really trade it today. I didn't feel like the news was that significant, but I haven't done much work on it.
Yeah, again, I expected it to do not too much or not be affected too much with off of that news. But I don't know if it really was, but the fact of the matter is that it's just been trading sideways. So I did have that 137 level kind of that I wanted to work with. It came in off the open, and we did get a little bit involved there at that 137. But later on, after letting it consolidate, make a little bit of structure there, you can see that eventually I found a little bit of a bid down here in the 136.40s, and I noticed that it just kept on going up to Vwap and then coming right back down, and then this buyer would step up again, the 136.40s, 136.30s, buying pressure steps in again, comes back into Vwap. So I was like, all right, well, if that's what it's going to do, again, Sean said in the morning to kind of remind us that, okay, well, sometimes the market's not going to give you everything that you want, so you just have to take what you can get. And what I was getting right now in this moment was a Vwap test. So all I did was just churn it off of Vwap. You break it, buyers kind of step back into pre-market lows there, and then bring it right back up into Vwap once again. So a little bit of a chop, sideways consolidation, but that buyer over 136 or a group or whatever, buying pressure, whatever you want to call it, above 136, it was definitely present. It took a few trades off of that. This trade right here, a little bit of a long off of an interesting reserve that was happening. It would not print below 25, and then I did get long, but I pieced it off too quickly, and then I switched to the short because I'm like, we're making lower highs, we're building into this buyer that's here, not with a relatively smaller size, but as you can see, that buying definitely continued all the way back through that 137 once again, and now we're testing, knocking on the door of day highs. So Google, definitely some opportunities to capitalize on today. Maybe not the best in the market, but definitely a little bit of clarity when that buyer steps in, and then now it's taking it to high of day.
I was just reading through what Mr. Frank Caberna wants to talk about this afternoon. He's going to touch on the US dollar down again today. We had that news out of Japan. With the yen, they're not going to cut interest rates as they were hinting at a little bit last week. So Frank is coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll touch in with him or check in with him. Microsoft, not really doing a heck of a lot today. It wasn't. It was positive initially, but we've given that back to red candle. But notice down here, very, very, very low volume with 2 hours to go here in the session. We're talking about this TomTom idea, which I think is really cool. But I was thinking after the fact, you know, should like OpenAI be able to come up with something that they could put into? I guess it's the navigation side of things that they need to fill in the gap. But TomTom and Microsoft going to team up to come up with a voice-activated conversational, apparently, assistant, they called it, in-car assistant for all of your navigating needs.
That can't come here soon enough. I talked about the deficiencies of Siri. You echoed in about Google as well, the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. When you ask Siri a question, oftentimes the response is, sorry, I can't show you because you're driving at the moment. You know, the logical thing for me is just speak it out. It's like speaking to another person. What's the difference? If I can make a call in the car, why can't I hear information coming from the assistant? So I hope this actually gets around that. But like Sean mentioned this morning, they're kind of hamstrung by the regulatory bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, YouTube still works in your car.
No comment.
I'm just saying, it does. Anyways, Microsoft flat though, guys.
Yeah, some crazy moves on
YouTube
Microsoft.
works in your car. What do you mean YouTube works? Oh, like on your infotainment system, Brendo?
Oh,
On your
Oh,
phone.
like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Siri for me doesn't work if it's plugged into my like infotainment. Like if I'm, like I can ask my watch whatever the hell I want. Like my phone still works in the car, but when it's attached to like the, like whatever
the CarPlay.
the CarPlay, Apple
Yeah,
CarPlay.
yeah.
Thank you so much. That's what we're looking for.
And there's also Android CarPlay.
Android. Yeah, is it called Android Auto or?
I have something like that.
Yeah. I actually like the Android Auto. So when I did have I preferred it better than the Apple CarPlay. But same thing. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be pretty cool. So just a new position here. I took Boeing. Like Boeing just fell in here again into 262. We took a long here at 50. So we're long Boeing right now. We're 20 cents in the money. Let's see if it can go. I am going to wait for something around. I just put an offer at 80. See if we can get 30 cents or so on it. And then if we can get back up, Vwap is where I have my next order in and around 30s and 40s. Let's see if Boeing wants to go just a couple pennies back up to the upside. But we're talking about softy. I love Microsoft, but again, it was not enough to get on my radar today. Again, I guess 373 would be fine, and so would 371. Anyways, this to me, kind of flat today. Look what we've talking about here with softy. And this goes to what I've been saying. I just think the market needs a breather here. So I don't, until something happens here, 380, maybe 365 break, something like that. I don't want to trade Microsoft until there's some kind of a catalyst. I love the name. I'm all about Microsoft. No doubt, like I said, Google and Microsoft are my two #1 holdings. So go Microsoft. But for today, I'm gonna hold off. Like you're so close to VWAP now. You're at the 50 period. Yeah. Everything's all together. If you open up the chart, we opened up the day right here. This is it right here. Look where we are. We're pennies away from the open on Microsoft. We've been up, we've been down, and I don't really want to look at it until we're around there somewhere. So for me, Microsoft's a no trade. And again, if you're looking for names, it's on our watch list every single day, but there's reasons why I didn't put it on here on the sticky note. Like Tesla today's on there. That's a mover, right? AMD's a huge mover today. Lyft. Talk about Lyft and Uber there. And then DraftKings, which I don't think I've been in yet. But anyways, trading names that are moving around. Microsoft, I like the story. But for me, the volatility right there is pretty dead in that name.
Yeah, shout out to the sticky note there. But I only have 2 levels written down for softy.
Right. Did they hit?
One of them is 370. The other one is 375. One is resistance, one is support.
And you're still not
And no, the
open was good. I just noticed that.
The 370 did come in, but I was looking back at it again. I was a little distracted. The 370 does come in, but you barely have under 2 minutes to get into that position. The low of day is literally 369.82. So we talk about decent prices not sticking around for long enough, and 370 definitely showed itself today. A strong volume off of the morning flush underneath the VWAP, holds 370 and then rips right back up. That is the low of day right now, but we've been consolidating above VWAP for the rest of the day. That 375 didn't really come in not even in the pre-market. In the pre-market, you had 374s, but that 370, oh boy, did I miss that trade. But again, gotta have my alerts in. Maybe even, Sean, I'm thinking about if it's a level that's like a little further away from the opening price, maybe have an order in there if I really do believe in the level, just to start the position as well.
That's a good
because it doesn't give you very long, and then if I'm distracted with like 5 different other tickers, right? And I look at, I'm like, oh, well, this is a planned trade and it's hitting right now. I got to be there for it. It's very, very easy to miss if you're not around. And then you take a look at it literally 5 minutes later, it's about a whole point above that trading at 371. So yeah, definitely other areas you could get involved on the idea for the push back up through VWAP. But yeah, decent move off the open. Other than that, it's just been sideways all day above VWAP.
And without any further ado, my most recent position is a Boeing trade. So let's go hear what Sharif thinks about this.
Yeah, more orders coming through. Back downside right now for Boeing, but more orders coming through this time from Lufthansa to the tune of 100 737 MAX airplanes. And as you highlighted this morning, just an effort to recycle some of their older planes out of their fleet and add these as new.
Yeah, Europe's biggest airline here is making some orders. They already had a bunch of firm orders already. The new orders, some of them firm, some of them possibly pending. Let's talk about them. 100 737 MAXs. 40 of those are going to be 737-8 variants, and 60 are going to be possible. So 40 confirmed and 60 possible. The firm orders from before are 34 787s, 7 777-8s, and 20 777-9s. So a lot of Boeing planes there. But like you mentioned in the morning, can they deliver?
And that's been the question mark surrounding Boeing for quite some time, even with the orders they got going back to the Dubai air show that we were talking about, or Abu Dhabi. It was whether or not the timelines would even make sense or be able to come through. But nice day anyways here, 0.8 as we said for Boeing.
Pretty solid move.
We were just talking about Bombardier, BBD.B in Toronto.
Toronto.
Okay, so look at this. So here's Boeing, right? Straight to the upside. Remember all that, how I was kind of trash talking Bombardier earlier and talking about them not even being able to get, subways together? This is Bombardier right now. So really doing absolutely nothing. And Boeing, although it's not bad. I mean, that bottom was 47. It's not a 52. This stock is reverse split numerous times, by the way. It's not a $50 stock. It's more like a 50-cent stock. And then look at Boeing, straight up to the upside right now. By the way, I forgot a name. I actually trimmed some NVIDIA. That's right, Obi.
500, not a bad
Yeah,
place.
494. Yeah. Got some out of 494. And as you guys remember, I was also trimming some NVIDIA at 465. So I'm not the most genius investor by any stretch of the imagination here. Okay, but like I told you before, buy the best names. I feel like you'll be fine. And that's what we did with Boeing. I can't remember the exact price that we're in on this name. I've been averaging into this for a while, ever since when this was getting killed back in COVID times. And I think it was, and there it is right now. We'll just take 30 cents. It's going a bit higher here, hopefully. Hopefully this comes back in, down into here in late 2022. But I feel like, the real dump off happened here. There's COVID. And I remember then President Trump at that time was coming in and talking about securing Boeing because it was also a national security issue to some extent, being US, making the planes, making sure that everybody can travel. I have to go back and find that. That'd be interesting. So when I heard about that, that's when I remember buying Boeing down into here. I'm sure I've gotten out, but this move up right now,
Yeah.
probably needs to be trimmed a little bit more. Huge move up, nice move. I like all the stories there. And here we go again. We're long right now at 50s. It's at O's. This is at 50 cents in the money. So it's another one. And we're barbecuing it up right now. The wife said, "What do you want for dinner?" I said, "How about ribs?" I feel like it's Tuesday. I don't think it's a rib day. But anyways, nice move up there for Boeing. We went long and we bought the dip. Pretty simple, man. There's the dip into the pre-market bottoms. Not the bottoms, but into some of these levels that we saw early. Let's see what happens there. Okay, new position alert. Let's go. Bang it out. We're into a firm now, taking out 51.50. That sucks because I thought we were going to get long down here. I was at 50.80 waiting right here, and we didn't get it. So now I sort of have to play a little Mercy. Do you have Mercy on My Soul? Is that a Shawn Mendes song or something like that? But let's see what happens here on a firm. We just busted the high of the day. We're taking a shot here. We were already long early, and I don't want to give back what we've made. We took 250 on this early push. Again, we held 20%, which was pretty good for that 49.60. But let's see now what a firm wants to do. I don't want to give it. Let's just see the last couple breaks. See, Obi, how we hadn't broke the 50 period?
Right.
Not breaking, not breaking, not breaking. Ooh, should have been long there. That would have been pretty sweet. But not breaking again. So now that we've taken out the high of the day, if we come back in and break it, then that means too many people caught like me up there at the high of the day. So let's take a deep breath and figure out what we're going to do with the firm because it just busted through and didn't go. So I'm going to have to regroup on this one. But Boeing's nice. I like it. 50 cents now in the money.
Yeah, solid trend here on Boeing. We talked about this morning, kind of had its earnings and it's only taken flight from there. Boeing in a very strong trend into pushing into that 270, right? Looking left here, this is an hourly chart. Some significant highs up here, right underneath that 280 as well. And we're well on our way towards testing some of those highs. How is it done intraday today? Let's take a quick look, referencing some of the prices from last week. Again, some strong pushes going into the end of the week last week. Coming into this week, we've only consolidated within Friday's end of day range. So I think if we're poised for a little bit of a continuation, this range definition that we're getting over the past couple of days is a decent look here. Kind of these highs coming in right here at 265 halves, the lows at 260s as well. So pretty tight consolidation for almost a $300 ticker there. So I think these edges right here will be a decent watch if we're looking for that continuation move on Boeing.
All right, thank you so much for that, OB. All right, so just to talk about a little bit more about Boeing, because we do have another out up here at 25 cents. So there's the dip buy there at 50. That's where we're long. You can see on the screen it's at 54. We're gonna try to get something out up here. I was gonna wait, like VWAP is 50s, so I was kind of going in the middle. So I'm right now waiting at 25, see if we can get that fill. So hopefully that will come in. All right, Uber, this was just a great break. I mean, this one, I can't honestly. Another one. That's a good one to stack up because like, there's the break of VWAP on Uber. We've been looking for this. We've been looking for a break lower on this name. So we wind up getting it out there or getting some getting in at 62.20 off VWAP there. What's up, Surge Trader? And then it just fell all the way back in, and I even tweeted it out when we took this Uber position here. We tweeted it out. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean, and it's right here, where we actually mentioned just piecing it out. Well, let's see where it goes. Target is really just 6160 area. So we talked about the target there for Uber. So that's exactly where we just got a piece out. 70. What is that? That's 70s. So pretty good there as we like that trade. That's a pretty good one for us. SoFi, again, this is really for me my best trade, and it's pretty simple too. It's just short at O's.
Other screen.
Yeah. It's just short at O's.
I just pulled up SoFi as well. I was like,
yeah. So short at O's there, and then out basically at the bottom of the day there. So we have the top of the day and the bottom of the day. But now it's coming back up, and I'm sitting here again at 98s this time. Take another shot, Obi. So we'll take another shot. Not as many shares.
Yeah, it was
once or twice, 3 times seems a bit much, but that was a good one.
That was a solid one.
Short 999.99 like it was on sale.
Yeah.
And then brought all the way down there to 970, 971. So get your SoFi shares while they are on sale. Affirm shares appear to be on sale and making a move to the downside. So one more reload there at O's, a little bit higher than O's, 06s. And then we're only giving it, now it's getting aggressive, right? So that's 97. I was going to give it to a break of 90 right there. So I'm going to cancel that. You can see me put my order in right now if you guys want. 50.89 out. Simple trade, man. If we break lower, break below that 50 period moving average. We did get a little excited. Normally we don't want to trade breakouts. Trading breakout early is one thing on good news. Trading a breakout now at 2:30 actually seems amateur hour. So I'm not thrilled with my decision, but Boeing is 70 cents in the money and trying to go. I'm happy with that one. Uber's in the money. Lyft is well in the money. Oh, and by the way, again, man, Serenity now. Look at this. And then, so here's Alibaba. I love the name, by the way. I feel like Alibaba could go. I feel like some of these Chinese names, if you're looking for some value, if you feel like that you haven't made, then you have to trust China. I better watch out what I'm saying. I just feel like these are the stocks that are still beat down. There's not PDD, but basically all the other ones. Even NIO at 9 isn't horrible. So here's Alibaba. We bought it on the dip, right? We got it at 74.80. My best out's right there, 75.40. That's still 60 cents, man. That's still top to bottom right there. Then it came back in, and I thought it was breaking VWAP. I actually told this to, what's your name again? Obi over there. Obi right there. And then Of course I know, I didn't forget it. And that broke 75, so I did get a piece out. Then I was like, okay, let me hold till the 50 period breaks. And then it came all the way back up, and I was like, yeah, now we're like $1 in the money. But then the 50 period broke, and now you're back up to highs. So anyways, we'll spin it. It is another one, and it was a good idea to take that Alibaba trade long, and we are nicely up on it, and it is one of my top stocks. But to have held the whole day, Obi, is to have been accurate on that one.
Yeah.
You know, when you have something that's strong and the market's just doing this dance, maybe it's worth holding.
Yeah, especially if it's not going anywhere and you're in at the right price early on. Yeah, sometimes it's worth it to let it cook, right? I have a question for you. You just said that kind of playing the breakout in the morning, decent probability, versus playing it midday to later end of the day. So if you see something breaking out at that lower probability time, what's a situation where you would fade that move instead of taking the break? Like, what would you need to see? Because you're saying that the breakout probability is low, that would mean the false break probability is high naturally, because that's the other side of the coin.
So what I think is that I've never run any studies on probabilities of these.
Right.
So I like to think that breakouts are the best when you have volume there.
Right.
And I was just thinking that, this is why I'm saying it's a little bit amateurish, that right now, first of all, Boeing, we just got 70 cents. That's a good trade. That right now here on Affirm, it's, look at the difference, right? Here, the volume is, when I'm taking this trade, you're at day's high volume. It's the first 5 or 6 minutes. The Walmart news literally just hit about a half hour before. The market's barely been open, and then we danced around and broke. So realistically, and part of it, I said you have to have a bias for the stock, right? And so we already knew what Affirm can do. We've seen it go, and at that point, it was up 5 or 6%. So a lot more room to go. So that's the first thing, right? Right now, why I don't think like this is a very valid trade as opposed to, and it's a great question, is like when I'm just looking here, all we really did was just spike up on volume. We did take out the high, fine. But I just feel like right now buying these dips, like it's given, if I was just 10 minutes more patient, could have possibly had this. But then I feel like we're cherry picking a little bit because this is easy to see now.
Right.
You know? So I don't know. I mean, you could always sort of zoom back out and see, and I didn't do this, and you're right, maybe just got a little bit excited there. Zoom back and see like where are other key levels right now. So obviously on Affirm, let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, so like we're kind of running into like, I mean, like that was...
That's 52.
Yeah, that's March of 2022. That's 52. That's 50, like look where this is, man. That's 51.50. So hello, I'm Sean. I just punched basically and as I said, pretty amateur. I just punched that's December of 23. So that was March. So I just punched a year, almost like what, 19-month highs.
Wow.
Right there, after we've just made this kind of a move.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, when you look back, it does seem pretty silly to do something like that. But yeah, probably to answer your question, probably zooming out solves a lot of the problems. And then I also think time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. And I mean, Neil and I will sit here and talk about like breakouts aren't really working, but then when they do work, they has to have a catalyst.
Right.
And so I just thought, who's going to slow up Affirm, right? 21% short. Hey, it could still work. We're long right now at 51.38. So let's see what happens. But look what I just said. If I had just been more patient, we could have bought that dip at 51. Now you'd be even 15 cents in the money. You take that profit, then you're not worried about this break anymore because you're playing with house money.
Right.
You know, so all right, let's go. I mean, hopefully we can get up and then we'll look like a genius for averaging in. But at the end of the day, I think that it was not the greatest trade to do that. So... Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think a lot of traders...
I wasn't referring to that specific trade, but just the fact that you mentioned like time of day versus breakouts. It's just like if you can measure the probability and then maybe counter the move if it's like, we know how a good breakout looks like, and if something's trying to break out middle of the day without all those factors, like without the volume, without the catalyst, without the right kind of price action, then like, yeah, it's maybe just a no trade or maybe counter it, right?
The other thing that we didn't really talk too much about was share size. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when you're trading off the open, not off the open, but in that first, maybe not first thing, but like 935, 934, like once you've sort of seen levels, you can get a little more aggressive because that could be that one trade.
Right.
And we have so many traders out here that are watching the show that are waiting for like one key level to break or something. When you see that and it happens early, you should be putting risk in.
Yeah.
You know, because you can get those $3 or $4. Like when a firm is a firm in the last, since 2 o'clock, in the last 40 minutes, if you come over to the screen, just real quickly, Ramin, if you can, or Fabian, just quick, doesn't matter. But right there, see, we have like a 40-cent range in the last 40 minutes.
Right.
Right off the jump, you had like, this is $44 all the way up, and we're not punching on until 47.
Yeah.
So that's like $3 in the first half hour. So a little bit different than the 40 cents that we're having right now. I feel like this trade's in trouble. I just put an offer at 25s. See if we can get some out. See if we can just stop a little bit of this bleeding right now. NASDAQ is right now, thank you to everybody in the chat, we're at 17. We're at 17 right now.
Yeah.
So this is an exciting moment once again as the market just does this. And remember again, when we were down here, what did I say? Whenever you're at Vwap, you probably got to get up there. Then you wait for the shorts. Back into Vwap, you wait for the longs down there.
Yeah.
Weren't patient enough. We don't have any shorts up there.
Yeah, I think we talked about that 17 being a very interesting area, and especially I was like, yeah, I want to see how we interact with that 17 today. That's going to be interesting, and a lot of chop, a lot of churn of said level. So definitely a lot of interest and kind of liquidity sitting in and around these levels for now as we keep on chopping and churning at this. So like coming off of these levels again, we haven't accelerated either way off of that 17 as of yet. But the bigger picture move is that we've been slowly creeping up towards these all-time highs, and yeah, ES as well, kind of pushing and consolidating. The previous highs was 4808, and look at this consolidation that we've done most of the day. All of these 15-minute wicks are picking up off of that previous high, and we're just consolidating above that. So I think that's definitely an interesting look going forward in the week for potential newer highs, or if we break back below this consolidation, maybe looking for a failed break as well. But yeah, I did pull up SoFi here, looking for a little bit of a turn there, but with the market kind of trading near its highs, and SoFi also kind of building into that 90-99 level as well. I'm going to stay a little bit more patient here. We are consolidating above Vwap. Vwap is 985, and you can see right here 985. You can see these strong wicks. So Vwap participants are definitely kind of there or showing themselves as of right now as buyers above Vwap, and all I'm looking for is a lower high on the day on SoFi. But I do have to remember that this is trending up from the day before, and again, the long is definitely a little bit more towards a long on a longer time frame, right? We saw how strong it was yesterday, and we did a little bit of a continuation today. So we made these tops last weekend, Monday, yesterday at 980, right? And then we pull back into it off of a 10 failure to follow through. And now we're pushing back up into this 990s in and around that 980 as well. So all I'm looking for is whether or not we get weak back into this, or if we get back up to those 10s and kind of continue this move as we have been since last Wednesday. Very, very strong move off of this $8 level. Now we're pushing 2 points in about 4 days. So that's absolutely wild there on SoFi. And yeah, that $10 is coming in. It's like creeping into that $10 level. So I'm looking, I'll be honest, I'm looking for a potential fade kind of back down. End of the day, let's see if that volume really is going to work with us or not. Let's take a look at Amazon as well.
Just real quickly, no, I have a job for you.
Sure.
Are you in Amazon? No.
No.
So you have a super chat, Nick Dubb, Obi, check out Disney.
Okay.
So let me give you a second to call up that chat, and then we'll get Obi's opinion on that real quick. I hit that alarm because we have a new trade alert. It's Meta right now. We just bought that bottom at 74. It's immediately 30 cents in the money. This is these little things, man, like that, you know, we're trying to scalp a little bit. Meta just fell off a cliff there as the NASDAQ broke back down below 17,000. Obviously, it's a strong name, so I do want to buy it off here. If it comes back up, we will quickly take some out at quarters. So if Meta can get back up into the teens, let's take something out. That'll be 50 cents plus. So that'll be not, well, sorry, where are we long at? 74. So yeah, 40 cents if we can get something where we're looking. So let's see if that can happen. Not sure it can. Affirm. I mean, I was just saying like, oh no, we're in trouble. Now we're back. Let's take another piece out here at 31s. Our average price was what, 28s? So now it's come all the way back out. We got some out at 24 and 30s. So right now, even though I was just like, you know, singing that Affirm trade was a bad one, it still could be. No idea. But right now we're back into the money now on Affirm. So that was a good reload. And I'm just glad that you asked me those questions, dude, honestly, because like it helps me too. It helps me understand that I'm still catching the trades. It's just, you have to make sure. That wick never happened, or so I would have got stopped. Oh no, that was very close to stopping me out, actually. That went right down to 90. Wow. So see, sometimes you got to be lucky to get these trades, that's for sure. But there it is right there. A nice little take on Affirm. Let's see if we can get back to the upside. So that's what we're doing on Affirm. What say you now about Disney, Ob?
Yeah, sure. No worries. Let me just, I got to get into this position here first.
Sure, I mean, I can.
130. I'm gonna get my
Uber dancing around here.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Disney
okay, go ahead.
right here. Okay, so Disney, I think Nick Dubb said Disney strong, right? So yeah, very, very strong off the open here. Nice opening drive as well. This is a 15-minute candle, and you can see the strength that comes in. So let's go down to a smaller time frame and really look at that 15-minute candle a little bit closer here. 3-minute doesn't seem to be enough. Okay, so it's much cleaner on the 1 minute here. As you can see, kind of every minute, strong bidding, not really breaking back down, not making lower highs, only making higher lows and higher highs into the drive, and that lasts about 8 minutes off the open. 38, 37 seems to be the top here on that push. Is it still day high? No, it's not. We finally broke above it, but we didn't break above it until in and around here, around 2 p.m. So that's definitely interesting. But very strong off the open, consolidation all day. So I don't know how much you could have really done in here, kind of just a chop. But that opening drive, very strong. Let's take a look at the longer time frame as well. What has this name been up to? We know it's been in the news every now and then. For the past few months, and yeah, we were here when we were fading down pretty much all year for the most of the year there in 2023. Disney has faded off for the most part, but then coming right back into these 90s. That's definitely interesting. A little bit of a break of trend happening as well that I'm noticing. Let me just define some of this right here. So yeah, that was kind of like the yearly trend on Disney, and then again, of course we had some catalysts along the way, some decent volume to draw out this trend on the year, and then we finally broke. And look at the volume that happens going in. Again, earnings related as well, but strong volume on the break of trend, and now we're consolidating and holding above 90. So I think that's a decent look. Again, Disney, pretty solid company there. They've been around for a while. Sure, they need to work a lot of things out. But again, would you consider Disney a staple?
Actually, Obi, you know what? Disney was a staple. No, I don't. Just a consumer discretionary, really, at this point. That was a name that I should have got out of in my long-term account as well. I don't. We have Frank Cabernet. He's coming up in 1 second. I don't want to delay too much longer, but I don't. Honestly, the park business, I like it. Yeah. It's just so super expensive from what everyone's telling me. I have someone there right now. He's sending. No, I don't have someone. One of my friends is there. One of my friends, and they're at the one with the Star Wars.
Is that the one in Florida? Yeah, the one in Florida. Yeah.
He says it's amazing, and I just feel like all that is great. But I just wonder how many people go in, and if we are heading to that. I mean, oil potentially signaling. We have the guy coming up right now that I don't know if we're going to talk about the R word or not, but oil and certain things that are coming to the downside. If we do get a slowdown and there is recessionary talk, I don't think a name like Disney is going to survive very well in that environment for the travel reason and that aspect. But without any further ado, someone which is levels more educated pretty much about everything. I'm certain about that. It's Frank Cabernet, so let's go over to the big desk with him and Brendo.
We're at IG.com in Chicago. Back with us, Frank Cabernet. Good to see you as always. Busy week coming up later in the week. I want to get your thoughts on this JPY. I'll throw you a curveball right out of the gate here, because why not? This JPY note. Japan comes out and says they're not going to even think about cutting rates or let alone actually doing it, because it would be difficult to, predict what the outcome of that was. We see more weakness for the Japanese yen here. A bit of a headline anyways today.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you bring it up because it's definitely the most intriguing part of what I've seen this week, and actually the last couple of weeks. One of the more interesting stories is they're out of Japan, hinting at a potential hike. I believe it was 2 or so weeks ago. One of the Bank of Japan central bankers was saying, oh, we're going to lift off of negative 10 basis points where they've been at for the last, I think, 5 to 6 years. They haven't hiked interest rates since 2007. And he's talking about how they're going to finally get off negative 10 basis points. And then they have a lot of tools at their disposal for other economic activity. And on that day, the yen at one point from high to low, Brennan, gained 500 pips on the US dollar. It settled the day up around 250 pips, which is still, I know you know this, but for those of you out there, that's a huge move. That's akin to, the S&P 500 moving 3-4% in a given day, essentially a 2 or 3 standard deviation move. And then you had the US central bank last week come out and talk about how they're going to be cutting. And then it was another couple hundred pips, another big move in favor of the yen and against the US dollar. And then the Bank of Japan meets last night. No change, not only no change, but we're not looking at hiking rates. And if anything, we're looking at keeping our economic policy as loose as it needs to be to continue to promote economic activity in Japan. And the yen just got absolutely crushed off of that, but hasn't given back everything that it's gained the last couple of weeks, because there's still this is why I love Forex so much. There's so many different angles. There's still the US angle to it, which I know we'll talk about here and continue to talk about, which is if the Bank of Japan isn't going to raise, they're just going to stay put. Well, if the US comes down, then you still might see some yen appreciation. So much nuance, so much going on. But I always love the central bankers. One of them says one thing, and then they come out and say the exact opposite, swinging markets back and forth. Because I know you guys all know this. Just love a two-sided trade. Markets moving back and forth there in dollar yen the last couple of weeks. Crazy swings.
Yeah, it was interesting from the standpoint that it seemed the way people were talking about it, or analysts were talking about it yesterday, it was a done deal. This was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And then, as you said, Bank of Japan comes out and said, "Huh? What? No one told us." But anyways, let's talk about some yields here. 10-year downside again today. I mean, longer term rates did try, I saw early on this morning, to put in a bit of a bounce, but no luck here. I mean, the downside just continues along with the dollar.
It's craziness. 10-year comfortably below 4%. 30-year right now sitting right at 4%. And the 2-year still at around 435, so 35 basis points away from 4%. Now, is 4% the key level for anything? No, not necessarily, but this is a level that the 10-year, 30-year, and 2-year, that everything across the U.S. Treasury curve has held above for the last several months. And now slowly the different pieces are either getting through that level, getting closer to it, and potentially challenging it. The 10-year is almost always the benchmark that we quote, and almost always in good times and bad, the leader or the laggard of the bunch. And so, yeah, we're seeing here the lowest rates since the summer, and it's not a new news story. We've been talking about this for weeks now, the potential for lower interest rates and the Fed to cut the overnight rate, which is still at 5.25%, as soon as January or March of next year. But what I'm getting at here, there's no coincidence, I think, whatsoever that you have a NASDAQ putting in all-time highs and an S&P right there near all-time highs. And the interest rate benchmarks that permeate our entire economy here in the U.S., the Treasury, and here you have the 2-year, which is, like I say, getting close to that 4%. It's no coincidence that they're moving lower and allowing for greater economic growth here in the U.S. And the conversation, as you know, Brendan, becomes now, is it 4% for the Treasury yields? Will the 10-year pick up here, the 30-year bounce back a little bit and stay maybe a little bit above 4%? This 2 years stay a little bit above 4%? Or is the next stop that 3% or 2%? Because these can move really, really quickly. I mean, look at the upside. And you and I were talking about this every step of the way, where this 2 year got to the 2% level for the first time in years and years and years. And I'll be the first to say, I jumped down here and I said, man, this is a lot pretty quickly here for the 2 year. And the last 5 to 10 years of trading would say that it's not going to spend too much time up there. Before you know it, it's 3%. Before you know it, it's 4% and 5%. And so these rates can move really, really quickly. And yeah, you begin to wonder, if they do blow through 4% here and start to price in, push the Fed to have to cut even more in 2024, how much upside is that for the stock market? How much downside is that for the US dollar market? The difference between 3 and 4% could be huge, and we could be butting up against it as soon as January, February of this year, getting close to those levels.
And one of the things that I think a lot of people are wondering at this point, is this just a pure result of volatility in this world, or is it actually underlying fundamentals that are pointing towards this should be happening? And if the first is the case, can the Fed actually move along with it to the downside, or do they have to wait for some sort of fundamental signal?
Well, I of course, I'm going to give the cop-out answer of course it's both, right? The market and the fundamentals and the Fed, they do tend to move in tandem. I mean, go back to the early days of the pandemic, before the Fed does anything and before the US economy shuts down, essentially, you had interest rates slipping a little bit going into that, because we're starting to see this news from China in February and early March, and the market volatility starts to pick up a little bit. Now, of course, more often than not, I would say, 8, 9 times out of 10, you see volatility start to creep, and then nothing huge happens. Obviously, a pandemic of that magnitude is a very rare occurrence, but you are starting to see the market volatility heat up a little bit. I mean, you're seeing big moves in US dollar, you're seeing big moves in interest rates, and the stock market is also seeing big moves, but pretty much only in one direction. And that is partially coming from the fact that inflation has just been stair-stepping lower for the last several months. And so, of course, these things are of a singular organism. They're all moving in tandem with each other, but one ends up being correct. And you and I talk about this all the time. The market is definitely pricing in greater volatility. The Fed is not speaking to so much volatility, and that's what makes the trade so interesting and exciting. One of them will be right, and we'll only find that out with data points like we have this Friday and with Fed events like we have in January.
Yeah, let's talk about a few of those data points still to come this week. We get PCE. There's a couple other ones that are, not as important, I don't think, as far as the overall economy or economic standpoint or look go. But we get this final print on GDP for Q3, and then we also get this Michigan consumer sentiment that has that inflation expectation tied to it that can sometimes move stocks around just because of that I word being in there, I think, and the number that comes along with it. But PCE, obviously the big one on the inflation side, the Fed's favorite look when it comes to inflation. But talk a little bit about that final GDP number as well. I mean, it was 5.2 or 5.3% on the last interim print. Now we're expecting the same here for the final.
Yeah, GDP has not been a top 1 or 2 number over the course of the last couple of years here, but there have been 1 or 2 examples in the last couple of years where it is surprised and it's shaken interest rates, foreign exchange, and stocks. And I think the only way that it could shock here is to the upside. And I think that could actually be interpreted as downside for the stock market, and that comes in the way of a surprisingly hot GDP number being translated as a potential bounce back in inflation, the economy essentially heating up once again a little bit faster than expected, and that being translated as interest rates bouncing back and stocks giving some downside. Obviously, the more straightforward number coming on Friday with the core PCE number. Fed Chair Powell loves this number. And you can see that he's been loving it very calculatedly, if that's a word, moving lower over the course of the last 12 months. We are reaching, as you've pointed out recently, Brendan, getting close to being in that 2 handle, and everybody wondering, are we going to just continue to stair step from a couple months ago, 3.8% to 3.7% to last month, 3.5% to this month, maybe 3.4, 3.3, and through 3% even on inflation? If that's the case, then yeah, I think you're going to end up getting those interest rate cuts that everybody's pricing in for January and March and May of next year. But if we get even the slightest uptick here in inflation, 0.1%, 0.2%, I think you'll see a lot of the recent price action across bonds and stocks and US dollar be undone pretty quickly. But it's been, like I say, such a calculated decline in inflation, and everybody expecting that that continues here this month with what will essentially be the last big data point of the year here for traders.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was getting at with that GDP aspect, as well as, a stronger economy could indicate that that inflation issue is still lingering in the background there. So great stuff, as always. We'll look towards Friday and see what we can get out of that data. We'll touch base again with Frank coming up on Thursday. Good to see you as always. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thank you, Frank.
I mean, we told you he was good. Thank you once again, Frank. Check it out with IG. Like, I just looked over. I have 8 positions. Like, what am I even doing right now? It's 3 o'clock. We have entered into the power hour, so let's go. Everybody wake up right now. Okay, just real quick, man. Someone in the chat said Palantir's at Vwap. You are right. It's above Vwap, so I shorted it. This is not something that normally I would do. We are lucky enough just to get a nice bounce up there to 04s or 03s. Where was that fill? 03. So that's good. I actually got the full fill. I actually got left like 5%, so I'll cancel that, see if it goes down. And we just got some 01s and O's. That came back in pretty quickly there. We're going to get stopped out if it does take, yes, sir, if it does take this high rate, not that high, but this of 06, 07. So here it comes pulling back in now for PLTR. So yes, good trade there. And again, just to answer, let's punch out of a little bit here if we can get some half prints, which we just got. Okay, so good outs there on Palantir. As that fell back in. And the reason why we want to be short this name, we already talked about this, under the 50 period, under the day's high. I feel like a retracement back to VWAP would not be a surprise if that's what happened in the market. I have some sad news. We're in a firm, so it's great. Everything is fine. But look, we did get stopped out there, broke through. And so the thing was, I actually had 2 stops. One was the break of 90. That actually happens by 1 penny. The other break was lower. So we only got out a part of it, which sucks. We bought back more, then it went back up. So this is a firm trade. Although it is where it is, I did. And again, this is about what means the most to me, and it's about being honest. So like, I can't just show it to you like, oh, we're still in a firm, let's rip up. We took the L. So it did break. Sometimes levels will break. We talked about how lucky we were that it didn't break 90 there, but I guess unlucky as it breaks it by 1 penny. Well, actually, no, it broke it by 3 pennies. We wound up getting 88.5 out there as it ripped up, and then we got back in and took a little bit more profit. So Affirm's going to be a positive name, but that's only really because of this morning. It's still very positive. So we'll wait to see if that comes in. But again, just like we were talking about some good luck versus bad luck, that right there, not great luck. All right, great luck though for Boeing. We only have very small piece left. That went to Vwap. Let's see if Boeing comes back in again. Testing this break right now, 362.50. If we break basically where we're in right now, we're going to get out. We've already had that whole move up, so let's take profit. That is, we already did. That's 262.50, right? That print out there is 25s. So we did it. Like, that's good enough for me, man. 75 cents. So if we drop below, then we're going to get out. I'm not even going to be too cute about this. That is 40 break. We're out of that name. Let's see where it goes right now on that. And hopefully Palantir, my new, oh, we got out some more Uber. I have to get lighter now. It's just, I looked over, man, and I was like, why am I in 7, 8 positions? They're working, so it's fine, but we have to manage them. So let's just do that. And let's put a stop for Boeing right now. It's about to come out as we get back into the downside here for BA.
Oh boy, some flashy tape speed increase there on the Google short.
All right.
And I saw what Darwin was saying in the chat. He was saying that bull is a little bit hungover. So I fixed Buddy over here. So he's standing up. But yeah, that Google short off the 137. Again, I said I wanted to get involved at that 137, and I get involved at that 137, so not too bad there. I do want a piece out of that. I was waiting down at Vwap at the 69. But didn't really come in there. Printed 70s and change, and then holding a little bit here. But yeah, taking the trade off of the push, risking kind of prior highs there, and yeah, it gave you a decent place to risk. And again, we were looking at like kind of potential for breakout happening at this time of day. On a name like Google, sure, the market is like pushing around that 17, but then after what I saw on the tape, a little bit of weakness in and around the same area where sellers were aggressive in the morning, and they kind of step right back in. So again, I thought this was going to come into Vwap, but with a little bit of consolidation above these prior highs there. This is the consolidation that we had midday. I do want to piece off most, if not all of it, right there. That's just how I'm trying to trade this here. Again, going back to the point, Sean, that I just gotta take what the market's giving me, right? Yep. Like I want 40 pennies all the way down to the 60, 69s, but if it's gonna give me 30 pennies, that's perfectly fine. That's close enough. I'll take that and walk away. But then if it comes in and actually gives me that, I'm still holding on to a little piece until some real reasons to kind of sell came on. And then, I don't know if you saw, I pulled up a timer. So I pulled up a timer right here. So I got the timer running after I got into this position because I'm trying to look more into time trades. Shout out to Wayne there in the back. He's been talking more about like setting times for kind of letting the trade work. And I was like, I'm not going to cover this trade until at least the next 15-minute candle, no matter what type of fugazi the tape might be showing me. So what I did to kind of protect myself from that is I threw up the timer after I got into the trade, and I'm like, all right, until this at least hits 10 minutes, I don't want to cover 50% of my position until this hits that mark. And I think it worked out pretty decently there. 137 comes in, flushes nicely underneath prior day high, gives you a decent range to risk off of, and here it comes, accelerating to the downside, and bing bang, we get that 69 there at the Vwap. So it works out well there. About a 15-minute stop. Still hasn't hit the 15 yet, so I'm still waiting 3 more minutes. But Vwap was what I was looking for. So again, kind of to quote Neil there, I don't want to look a gift horse too much in the mouth. So I will get out.
What about your
timer?
plan?
I mean, the plan. Here's the thing: the timer or the target.
I was going to say
whatever hits first. The target was Vwap, and it came into Vwap, so I'm covering at Vwap.
Then what's the point of the timer? Because if it's either going to hit your level on the upside or the downside.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is if it does nothing in that time, then you're just going to get it out regardless?
No, then I'll reassess. The thing is, I find myself, here's the thing. Some of the times on the losing trades, I find myself getting more aggressive and holding it.
Fine.
And then on the winners, I find myself being a lot more antsy and not holding them for as long as I really should be. So
I know, but
that's what I'm trying to work in the timer to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
I do, but I mean, I love
Wayne.
I think it's a good idea and everything, but I just worry about waiting for something like that. If you're going to use a timer, you're never going to be able to up your size.
Okay.
Because once a certain level, like if you're just going to sit in there and say, I'm going to wait for something to happen. In this market, I actually think it's the opposite way, because like if you're going to get a flush down, all of a sudden this market right now could drop like 100 points. You're not going to get out because your timer.
No, of course not. That's obviously like an outlier scenario, but
yeah, but I'm saying that's I feel like for us, that's really the biggest risk. It's going to be different for everybody,
right.
But we all have those sort of things where it's like if a certain level is hit, I almost don't care how long it takes for that level to hit.
Right.
Like my whole worry is that your trade's not doing anything, your level hits, and then you get frustrated with it, get out because the time has been reached,
right.
And then the move happens.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be like rethinking, okay, why did I use that timer? But it's a great suggestion.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure things out, because like I don't hold my winners as long as I should, right? A lot of the times I take, like for example, this is a perfect example right here.
Yeah, let's look at it.
I understand and I've seen from before a lot of data, again, market generated data right here. Buyers have been showing up above this 136. 136.40s is the actual price, but like if you were watching the tape there, they kept on showing up and it kept on clocking back into Vwap. Right. So this level comes back in, and I see that you don't even violate pre-market lows, and I'm like, okay, this is a decent place to risk. It's giving me about a 15 penny risk to have. Plus, we talked about the reserve that's happening here at the 25, so you don't even have to risk.
What does this have to do with time?
But I piece out of this trade, even though it's working in my favor, because I'm watching the tape. And I'm getting jittery. I'm like, oh, maybe lower highs, maybe this and that. But it really gave you no reason to sell. And not only do I do that, I pull a degen move, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe that is a lower high, and I get short right after. Which is again, that's something I'm trying to take out of the trading. But if I had the timer here and let this kind of work, I think if I have the timer on and the trade is working in my direction, maybe that's a little bit better to just hold on and not really get lost in the sauce. But again,
to me, it has nothing to do with time, dude. Honestly, but I can understand it.
Right.
I just think when I look at that, I just say you need better stops.
Yeah.
Like the time has nothing. I just get nervous that you're waiting for time, and then it just doesn't. The time doesn't.
Yeah, the time passes. Yeah. So
and it's just like, and then you're like, I got to get out. Like you don't. To me, when you're saying about your degen outs there, it's just you got to have better out. I'm the same way, dude.
No, I had to stop in. Where I should have, but I just didn't hold the trade. Because I saw some stuff on the tape and I was like, oh, maybe, and then I just.
Okay, so the problem is honoring your own stops.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy. You know how easy that is to fix? That's the best. That is the best problem to have.
Okay.
No, because why do you have a stop in? What's the point?
That's where I'm wrong.
Right.
That's why the stop is there.
Yeah, but so what's so hard about honoring it then?
Yeah.
Like it's already in there.
I'm
like
getting greedy, right? I'm like, I'm a little bit in the money.
No, we're all greedy. I mean, greed is good to some extent.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if that's going to be your stop, you've already predetermined where your stop is. What's up, Kat? You've already predetermined where your stop is. So to me, it's like, if that's where your stop's going to be, you just need to honor it.
Right.
And then we'll figure out, like, oh, that was a bad stop.
So basically what you're telling me is to respect yourself.
Yeah, and then after that, you have to check yourself as well. So
before you wreck yourself.
No, but why is it why it doesn't need to be harder than that?
Okay.
Honestly, that's why I can have 8 positions on. Now, some of them blow up in your face and you look ridiculous for holding all 8 positions. And I understand that. We're going to talk about meta in a second. But, it's just like, if you have your stops in, it becomes you versus the stock market, not you versus your emotions.
I find it.
Maybe I should be on the midday show here. Anyways, no.
A lot of times I find myself me versus my emotions.
Right,
and
exactly.
That's something I'm working on.
Me too, dude.
It's just like I can't.
I mean, being a hot-blooded Italian sometimes is not great for emotional trade support. But no, I feel like that's what it is, man. It's all about, to me, I love the midday stuff, but I feel like it's psychologically, that's the problem. And I'm the same way. Remember I talked about having my net up. It's like, just because a trade is all of a sudden in the money doesn't necessarily mean it's hit my targets.
Right.
But I see the money, and the other way around too. Oh my God, this is getting too bad. And I get out. But you saw what happened on that Affirm trade.
Yeah.
It broke the level and I just got out. Do I hate myself when I look back and 10 minutes later it's 30 cents higher? Yes. But the trade, this is how you stay in the game. The trade wasn't there. You got out based on what your stop was. You rinse and repeat and you move on to the next, on to the next, So that's what we're doing. And It is not, thank you, Finch Jane. It is important to trade multiple stocks, but I'm getting lighter. Like I looked over and had 8 positions. Too much. So we do have to lighten up on some of these trades. But I hope some of you took some of that talk and understood a little bit of what
definitely valuable.
what we talked
Again,
about.
I'm trying to learn, and I think Sean is dropping some valuable knowledge, and definitely, hopefully, you guys are getting.
I mean,
some
it's
value
knowledge,
as well.
whether or
I'm
not
definitely,
how valuable it is.
No, it's very valuable, Sean. I really do appreciate it. I think again, I'm trying to work on my craft. I'm trying to build my business, and having players in the game who have been around for like 10, 15, 20 years to kind of look up to for that guidance definitely helps, man.
Thank you for mentioning how long I've been doing this for. That's very, damn, I look old.
Oh,
no, but okay, another thing about that point. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to talk like that. But the other thing too is that, how about this for trading? KISS.
Yes.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep, I've heard that one.
Yeah, I know, but now you're adding a timer to it.
Yeah, that's just
It doesn't seem very simple, my guy.
Yeah, no, it is complicated.
Because now your timer's at 19 minutes. I thought you said it was 15 minutes.
The trade is done, right? I got out of the trade, so
Okay,
the
so
timer.
cancel that timer. It's bugging me looking
I'm
at
sorry.
it. No, but that's that's what I'm trying to get at, though. Honestly, is like you got to watch your stuff and do all that. So, what's up, Professor Love? Yeah, Jordan Love was not very much in control this week. Shout out to the Green Bay Packers and their loss. What a ridiculous. My brother's favorite team is, I know, Yay Sports, but they played Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So Green Bay lost to Tampa Bay.
All right.
So it's kind of like the battle of the bays.
Okay. Yeah.
But Green Bay's nowhere near a bay, of course. It's in the middle, Midwest.
Why do they call it a bay?
Well, it must be actually close to some kind of a bay, actually.
Right.
But Tampa Bay, anyways. All right, let's move on that. All right, so we just got some more Meta down here. So this is what I was talking about. You see Meta broke 350. So nice move down there. We did wind up getting out. And then we thought about it, and maybe it is going to support this level. So we'll try it one more time right there for that. So that's going to be a good one. We'll see if that can work. We are getting more and more out of Lyft. We haven't done anything on this one forever. We're still short up here. Lyft was pretty good until it wasn't. It just kept on going to the upside. Couple good shorts early. We got stopped out of Lyft up there. And again, there's the stop out, and we got back in. And, so again, sometimes my levels aren't the greatest either. We did give that a little bit more room afterwards and able to pay dirt on that one. So that's going to be pretty good. Palantir is working. And again, this is the other thing. My stop is in right now, so we're going to let this thing fall down. Hopefully Palantir can work for that as well to the downside. So let's see what's going on right now. Meta looks like it does want to break. I'm giving this one. We've given some money back here, just trying to screw around or mess around a little bit. Meta breaking 90 and we're out. So I want to see if it can work. We're above on the 50-period moving average, but the market doesn't look super strong. I actually think we're in for, I told you, I've been selling some of my positions. I do think we're in for a pullback, but to sit here and call like tomorrow's the down day or sell off Friday or whatever, I don't know if that's there. We're going to need some kind of a report to come out, either a number that is way off, an unemployment number that's way off, a jobs number, CPI, PPI, something like that. And as the Fed comes out and starts talking, I don't even know if that matters. It needs to be data driven. So we'll wait to see what's going to pull this market back. Maybe a bad print tonight from FedEx. We do have on, by the way, let's go, man. Let's hit it. We have Brian Shannon on. So I just told him, I hope he does this. So we just talked about this going back and forth. He's going to tweet out an anchor VWAP for FedEx. So when he does that, I'm on the lookout for that. He nailed the anchor VWAP, the bottom of NVIDIA earnings. He nailed that at 470. It retraced back up to 5 bills.
He had that trade?
He had that trade. Wow. Well, I don't know if he had it on. We can all ask him. But we talked about before the earnings came in, he was like, NVIDIA could come back into this anchored VWAP level. It did that to the penny. The other one was CrowdStrike. He nailed that almost to the dollar. So we're going to look out for FedEx tonight with earnings. And my one of my favorite guests to have on, Brian Shannon from, the book is right here. Shout out to my daughter, by the way, as this, you always have to have pictures on your desk.
Yes, that is the book.
Anchored VWAP. Have you read this?
I have not. I've read about anchored VWAP. Yeah, I haven't read this specific.
I don't get any money for advertising this. What am I doing? But anyway, shout out to Brian Shannon. I'm just joking. Shout out to Brian Shannon, who's coming on the show later on tonight. So All right, Palantir still dancing around, Uber 30 cents in the money.
I got a laundry list of books that I'm trying to get through, and
Yeah.
I'm a relatively slow reader when it comes to it. Plus, on top of that, I only read on the subway home, and
That's the problem,
So
yeah.
it's like I'm only getting a little bit done. But
And you got to watch out for people running around stabbing people and stuff.
you know what? To be honest, I keep my eyes closed, and that prevents me from either seeing anything or experiencing anything for the
doesn't
whole
protect you
time.
But what about from defending yourself? No, we're just playing
That's
around.
what the ultra instinct is for. But
I'm just joking. The TTC is very, very safe.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think you hear on the news, you hear outlier news,
I'm not,
right?
Right, I'm
So it's
being
like,
serious.
Yeah, no, it's
No, but when
not
you
that
have,
bad.
honestly, there's 100,000, I'm going to Google how many people are on the TTC every single day. And then you hear of one or two. It's the same thing in New York, I assume, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be bad stops. There's going to be situations that continue to happen. But honestly, man, just keep your wits about you. I think public transit is fine.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It gives me time to meditate coming in. I'm never going to be able to do that driving in every day, you know. So
Yeah, I don't recommend meditating while driving.
yeah, no, maybe not the best thing to do there. But yeah, back to the market here.
I'm getting out some time.
17,000, still kind of churning there, so we haven't really gotten anywhere with only about 40 minutes left in the market. I guess Vwap was a great place to buy some Google, and we covered there.
Don't carry
as
guns
we've
here.
only, yeah, exactly. We don't. There's laws
Yeah,
against.
exactly.
There's
Ramin.
laws against that. But Vwap, Google kind of slowing down as well, so not a bad place to cover, kind of coming in after the fact. But that's decent information. Again, we saw how strong it was yesterday, holding on to Vwap, and I was just looking for the fade back down into Vwap just to see if some of those buyers kind of step right back in, and we got exactly that as of right now. But yeah, the market kind of sideways here. Amazon not really giving too much there. Again, I don't even know what I did here. Okay, yeah, no, I remember. So a little bit of a support. So you can see that this consolidation is supported. I tried some cheeky longs through the 154. No real follow through. This was during the midday right here. Doesn't really work out. Strong reasons to sell show up. And yeah, just get out of that position right away when those reasons do pull up to the tape. And yeah, decent reason to sell as it kind of came right back into this consolidation zone here. I try the long again, get stopped out once, and when it kind of claims back in, I'm like, no, not without me, and then getting right back in and just catching the move right back in. Again, it is pretty choppy. It is chopping and churning into a range, and I do like the range trading aspect. I am comfortable with that just because levels have been defined before, and if the tape read at the level shows up once again, I think it's a pretty straightforward trade there, not an easy trade, pretty straightforward trade when range trades show up like that on these names. But again, hasn't really gone anywhere, pretty much sideways on top of this 153. I was talking about I want to see it consolidate on top of 153 in a distinct way to take it into 155, and that didn't really come through at all today. So maybe a little too early to the move. We've got to see how it sets up on the week. But again, bigger picture here, it's breaking out quite significantly, right? It's breaking out quite significantly out of a longer term trend there. On the Amazon, let's just take a quick look at the hourly here. So again, I can reiterate what I'm talking about here with the chart. So that 150, take a look at this consolidation, absolutely solid consolidation, give or take about 5 or 6 points there. Nice little churn. Accumulation on the longer term, and then you build up into that 150. So we just recently broke out of that 150. So even if we pull back all the way into 151, 150s, this breakout is still valid on the longer term, in my opinion. And not that opinion's weighted with any sort of value, but all I'm saying is that's how I kind of look at it. And that 151 hold potential for the push back up. Again, we are breaking out. This is just a continuation, again, in my opinion, of this kind of a multi-month trend break that we've had. We went sideways for a bit, and now we're breaking past that 150, And if you look even further left, you can see that we have quite a ways to go if we are going to fill some of this action back to these highs, 160, 170, 175 as well, kind of on the way. And if the markets are going to continue to rage and make newer highs, then I think that those levels are more than within range. Again, a bit of a multi setup there happening on the Amazon. So decent breakouts happening there through that 150. But as of today, no real trades for me. Consolidating underneath the level. 370 was there on softy. I didn't really. We talk about kind of not getting involved with it when it does show it to you for a little bit. But even after that, it's just been consolidating. So not to forget, it is the second day of the week after a week where we've been where we reached fresh highs and we're printing newer highs. So I think a lot of churn and consolidation and choppiness may be valid, right? We're seeing it happen and it's there. That 17th thou definitely going to be interesting. I've been watching it all day, kind of holding on to this 17 on the NQs, and then also ES making brand new highs as well. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading. Dave talking about Nat Gas blasting off. So sure, we can take a quick look at Nat Gas now. I haven't looked at these names in a while, but I think Cold and Boyle were my go-to I guess entities for looking at the natural gas. And now again, you can look at the natural gas futures as well. That's NG is the ticker there, but let's take a quick look at Boyle first. So a little bit of a consolidation, pushing high of day as of right now as we're speaking. Cold, the negative ETF there, the short ETF. They're kind of looking very similar as well. 110 day highs and pushing back down into 100s, 101s, fresh lows printing here on these nat gas equities here. So,
you know, somebody that needs better food prices?
Who's that?
Someone that owns a 220-pound Great Dane.
Whoa.
So shout out, I hope it's okay, Chef Joe. Shout out to Chef Joe. He posted this. I'm like,
That's a big dog.
And I said, dude, how heavy? 217 just turned 4.
Wow.
Just turned 4, dude.
Wow.
No, it's not. Randy's is 174.
Okay.
Randy's,
And
this
how
guy makes Randy's look like you're not even in the same league. But
Yeah,
wow.
that's a big dog.
Shout out to Chef Joe. We're gonna get Randy. I just messaged Randy, so hopefully he'll be able to send me a picture of his. It is a horse, of course. The thing about Great Danes are, and my wife had one growing up, they're like the sweetest lap dog. Like they are, and you don't want them to be lap dogs, but like look at that picture. The dog is like on her
they're
lap.
huge, yeah.
Like it's not playing around, and they are absolutely fantastic dogs. So
reminds me of again. What were those? You could probably ride that dog into battle. Like what were those battle war dogs from?
Wolves?
I think they're like mountain dogs or something. They're like huge.
Mountain lions?
Not mountain lions.
No, I'm just playing around. I don't know.
I'll look up a picture.
There are those mountain Saint Bernards that are like helping you when you're going through the mountains. Woolly mammoth?
No.
Dude, I think you're thinking a little bit too much about like prehistoric times and stuff, but there are...
Maybe, I might be going a little too far back there, but
yeah.
I'll look that up. Hold on, I'm trying to figure, I'm not too good with the dog names.
Yeah, Saint Bernard, Bernese Mountain Dog. Yeah, but those are all like, you're not gonna ride those into... Anyways, you could definitely ride that Great Dane. If Chef Joe's, I don't even know if he's here. In the chat. He hasn't really commented, but oh, there he is. Yeah, he is right there. Great Dane. Yeah, he's in the chat. Shout out to Chef Joe. What is their dog's name? All right, for anybody joining right now, let me show this. Oh, I just closed it. Here it is again. This is the in issue right here. Shout out to Danielle Shea messaging me. She's getting ready to come back through. There it is right there. Wow, amazing. I'm looking for the name here, Chef Joe. What's the name of this? Russian police dog. Yeah, that's about right. So, all right, let's get on there. I know you're getting fun with it. I'm not keeping this on. I just wanted to show it there to everybody. So shout out to Chef Joe and company right there. We do have Brian Shannon coming through. He's messaging me now as well. So that's going to be great for the after show. What was bad though was this one. And again, sometimes you're going to fail. And there it goes, meta to the downside. We are getting out of that. Look at the market fall back in. And the thing was, I was just looking for shorts, to be honest with you. And we got caught up in the longs. Oh well, yeah, not great trying to pick and choose some of these levels. We just got out of Uber right there as well as the market's 330 already. So there's Uber falling back in. That's going to be a good trade. Like, I'm not trying to put on a lot of risk. You asked about like putting on risk in these situations. A firm dying a little bit as well. Trying to, again, a couple good longs in there at the top. The best long obviously from the morning. We'll wait to see what happens here with a firm. Trying to get back through 51.50, but not having much success there. And then SoFi, I have you're gonna see me in SoFi, but I have 1% left. It's literally 1% left. Just holding a random number. It's not that random, but because I wanted to see, I don't want to miss it coming back up. So I do have an offer at 98. If I get the fill, I'll come right back. But we're out of SoFi. Our best outs were all the way down here at the bottom. So we took advantage of that. We're not in that for very many shares. And then Palantir has been dripping down, and this has been a good trade for us. Only one trade. Oh, you talked about Amazon, Obi?
Yeah.
We only have one trade on Amazon today, and it's on Vwap.
Nice.
And it was that short. So that's that. We're waiting for this to collapse back in. So hopefully that will happen right now. Amazon, one of my top positions today as well, as that's falling back in, waiting for it to take out the bottom. Feeling pretty negative here into the close, but the market's still pretty flat. So that opinion is definitely different than the market. I'm going to wait for Brendo to come through with the number. It's 330 right now. I'm not expecting a huge one into the close.
Yeah, that 155 on Amazon, kind of the only level I really had written down on the sticky note, and I was like, this is my T1 trade today, and I want to put on some risk on the 155. Yeah, decent place to transact, no doubt. But I was looking for the long, to be honest, and it comes in, clips it, fails to follow through that 155, and then just straight selling down in the first 30 minutes all the way down underneath 153. So it gives you about a 2-point move to the downside off of that level. Again, potentially, I thought it was a key level to interact with going long. But again, I got to stay nimble. When that level kind of flushes like that, I might need to reassess there and not get so aggressive on taking the long. Again, when this thing kind of fails to follow through a fresh high, the selling that can come in is tends to be pretty decent when it's there, right? And if it's there, I do have to learn to respect it better. But yeah, we were talking about that Vwap consolidation earlier when you got into that short. Truth be told, I was looking a little bit more long because I was like, okay, well, we're building into it. But that short works out really well. And yeah, looking back at it, that 155 failure to follow through. Yeah, maybe a little bit bearish there, and we have pretty much been consolidating near the lower end of this midday consolidation here above this 153. So yeah, I'm curious to know where we're going to be going the rest of the week here. We've defined a little bit of a range here, 153 to 155, both kind of key interesting areas to start off the week with, right? We print some fresh highs, we print some lows as well, and now we're consolidating in between. Google, not really doing too much. It seems like those 136 buyers are back at it again and kind of pushing us back into the highs there, 137s, as we only have about 28 minutes left for the close there. And apparently it's called a Caucasian Shepherd dog right here. So I do have a picture of it right there. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, so they're pretty big, as you can see. So
too.
Yeah, exactly. So some pretty big dogs. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely a big dog. Reminded me of one of these. That's why I was like,
I didn't know if you were watching He-Man and you thought maybe like Battle Cat or something like that. I wasn't sure about.
So what are those called? Maine Coons. Those are.
Ooh,
those
there
are
we go.
huge.
Now we're.
Oh,
sick cats.
Yeah, Ramin's saying she wants one. She wants one as well. Yeah, I
Ramin
think
wants everything though. Like Ramin won.
I want a Maine Coon. I want a lynx.
Yeah.
Big cats are pretty cool.
There was
like
something
that,
the other day. She's
lynx.
like, I want something like that. And then we're like, you're gonna pay for that? She's like, nah, I'm gonna make someone else pay for it. I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty funny, for sure. So shout out. We have such a good team here. So, all right. I'm just trying to basically close out the trade. Again, it was. Brennan just put the number in the chat, man. 5 million to sell.
Ooh.
It was 7. What was it on Friday? It was 7 billion to sell. Trillion.
Whoa.
7 billion. So here, let's have a quick look to see if there's anything that's lighting the lamp here. What is FTCH? Isn't that Farfetch? That's not Farfetch.
Yeah, that is Farfetch.
Is it? That's only.
FTCH is pretty.
It is
sure.
Farfetch.
I'm like 90% sure.
Are they going bankrupt or something? Not opened in a while here. Farfetch. They didn't open today. They haven't. These guys haven't opened.
Oh,
actually,
yeah. What's happening here? They didn't.
yeah. What is the news on this FTCH here? Because they have not opened yet today. So we'll wait to see. I mean, we probably talked about it earlier. It's a moot point. It's done no volume. But anyways, there's a sell imbalance if and when it ever opens up. Probably declaring bankruptcy. The reason why I didn't know this name is because I don't remember this being a $0 name, but it looks like FTCH is exactly that. Bets we know is a 0-cent name as well. Good luck to anybody holding this one. I think it was all a dream. But if you used to read Word Up magazine, fine. But Bets is down here at 0 cents, so that might be worth a shot. But remember, if you go long here at 0068, how much can you lose, Obi? Like, you think about it, it's down so far. It's probably worth the risk, right?
I mean, you're gonna lose whatever you put in, if it goes down there. So, size dependent.
Answer 100% is what you'll lose. Okay, so that's Bets. I don't know if that's true, but I hate this kind of thought because, like, I recently averaged into more weed names, and now I'm just down even more money. Good average in. What's up, Brendo?
I was off the desk yesterday, so missed this, but interesting. Remember Coupang? Farfetch shares are, this was yesterday, Farfetch shares trading lower after Coupang announced plans to acquire the business and the assets of the company. So there was also this, they entered into a first lien delayed draw term loan facility up to $500 million. So two things happening here, it would appear, for FTCH.
That's like what, like an Insta buyout?
It depends. Like, if they're not making any money, they could have just bought the assets for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
So what is Coupang symbol again, Brendo? Because this was one of the ones I remember we were in a meeting, and I'll never forget it. It was
CPNG.
CPNG, okay. And we were in a meeting when this IPO'd, and I had an order out, and I think it was only for 300 or 400 shares, something like that. And then I remember getting a message. I was in the meeting. Maybe I shouldn't say this. And it opened up, because remember, IPOs were never opening. So like the show ended, and all of a sudden I was in like the long, and then it was just tanked. It was bad. Hold on a second. If I can find it, Coupang was not a very good IPO. You're gonna see where
So wait, you had orders in for the IPO?
Yeah, and then it opened, and I wasn't at my desk.
Damn.
I think I had to stop ordering, but look, this, yeah, see this? This was the Coupang day. Like, it IPO'd, it ripped all the way up, and I think I was decently in the money, and then all of a sudden it just, that was basically, its best day was its birthday.
Yeah.
So that's not good as Coupang. Okay, we'll talk about that, but anyways, South Korean, I believe. Anyways, thanks, Brendo, for that one. So there it is, Farfetch being acquired, probably pennies on the dollar, more to come on that one. All right, so Palantir still making a move down. We'll watch out for that. There was nothing on the imbalance, by the way. SoFi is coming back up. I actually debating taking this again almost right now, but the problem is,
yeah,
like,
I was looking at that as well.
You're getting close. There's the $10 level. I know I have it, not the greatest font there or background color, but there's not a huge bunch of size. So I'm waiting at 98. I will take the trade. My stop order is still in there. Can you guys believe this? So this is another one of those trades where I showed Obi, my stop order is at 10.01. So we had 2 cents worth of risk to take 30, to take 28. So right there, 14 to 1, but it doesn't matter. I don't use it like that. We were waiting for it to come all the way back in. Most of the outs are here at Vwap. We talked about that. So it's like a 6-7 penny winner at the maximum there on SoFi, and I think this is worth taking all the time. Ahead of a key level, it's had a huge move up. We've seen 10 before. Not that it matters, but if it breaks 10, it's such an easy trade. So you could take shares there, shares on shares on shares. Rivian, we actually wound up losing on. This was a short that we had. That was good. Short again, and then it eventually broke to the high side there for Rivian. Looking at 24.50 as a possible marker there. Something to be considered is, I just saw Apple at Vwap, but I think that's a Fugazi, yeah. So just bouncing around Apple there again, just back to where we opened. And we knew this. We talked about this today, that Apple probably a nothing burger. I just did not think it was enough of a story to get this thing going. But then again, look at that. 97, sorry, a level to look at, 97 and 96. We'll look at both those levels tomorrow. But for right now, I'm kind of off and not really worried too much about anything. Uber's a sell, SoFi's there, Palantir's there, Lyft is not doing anything, and Amazon, honestly, that's AMD, sorry. Amazon not doing too much either, Obi. I don't know if we just should cash out of all this. Let's put an Amazon bid down here at 153.35. If it drops down, we get that bottom again, great.
Yeah.
It's respected it. We already have one short up here at 80. Let's just take the 50 cents if we can get it. 153.35, new possible out here for Amazon?
Yeah, it's been in that 30 penny range. Again, I was a little involved in and around that 153.30s again, seeing that buyers kind of stepping up into that area. Tried it a couple of times before actually getting it, but yeah, 30 penny range here happening, and it gave it to you a couple more times, but I wasn't necessarily there for that trade. But yeah, it does seem like it keeps on kind of building into these 153.30s on that consolidation. Again, with only about 20 minutes left to go, not really making a move significant enough for me to be like, okay, I want to put on a risk with 20 minutes left to go on this price action and this structure that's being built. Not necessarily anything right now. I am looking at some of these other names that, again, we were watching earlier on in the day. I'm looking at some of these names as well. Okay, Mara was nearing 20 here. I saw somebody talking about Netflix in the chat, so I pulled it up. And yeah, maybe this is a name that we're kind of missing out here today there, Sean, because it's trending pretty nicely, right? It's trending pretty nicely. It's holding. It's coming up to 500. We saw what another name did at 500 very recently, and Netflix, another name kind of in the tech group that's building into that 500 level as well. Again, strong action going into the level, also kind of building into that 500. Taking a look at the longer time frame here, you can see a better picture of that buildup. So yeah, post earnings, again, same thing here. I keep on talking about this kind of thing that's been working. Post earnings consolidation, trend continuation. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but that's what's been happening on a few of these names that kind of do the do's and show you that that's what's happening. Their 400 to 500 move since October, since the end of October, kind of happening and coming in there. Again, with a strong market leading the way and giving you that tailwind, that 500 seems like we're going to be knocking on the door of that level quite soon there. I'm just we're going to take a look at Mara, right. So crypto stocks definitely in play as of recent. So we'll take a look at this on the 15-minute time frame here. So last time I checked, this was in and around that $20 mark, and that's what I was looking for this morning, and that we didn't really get that. And oh wow, okay, so we did kind of hold that 21 area, push all the way back through that 22. So that's pretty solid there. Nice little buildup into higher highs on the daily as well, right? This name has been coming up from a sub $10 level just a few weeks ago, just a couple months ago as well. Nice little trend up, and I think I was talking about this a couple months ago as well. Interesting volume buildup happening on the daily, right? Over like a lot of 2023, you can see this R vol that's been building up into it relative to what the volume has been on the way down. So that was very interesting to me. And now we're breaking the consolidation where that heavy volume came in on, using even more volume to make that break. So I think that continuation play on Mara, as long as Bitcoin kind of continues to kind of churn up day by day, I think that Mara is a decent look. Again, being over 20% short float, or being, I think, over 15% if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's right at 20, but yeah, definitely more than 9%, because that's what CLSK was when we checked yesterday. So definitely, right, Mara have a little bit more oomph when it comes to the buying pressure due to that short float that's been sitting there on these names. Again, these names have come down from fallen from their graces here from the past. As you know, we've been quite high on these names. I'm trying to remember what the highs were. Again, split adjusted $80 here on during the whole COVID run up there on Mara.
Yeah, again, a big short float and then some Chinese names there. So look at this, man. This is why I'm talking about, like, bringing you the heat. Join me tonight for the market recap show. Look at this. On demand. Brian, thank you so much for this one, man. I mean, here we go. I ask, he delivering. Here is the anchored Vwap that he's looking at for FedEx earnings, in and around 255, in between 255, 260. So there it is, man. Join. This is from Brian. Shout out. You know, again, big fan of the show, big friend, Brian Shannon here, the 200 DMA, or sorry, the 20 DMA, also looking that. So there it is. Go check it out. If you are interested in FedEx earnings, join me, Brian Shannon, and Fabian. You staying back late tonight? Ramin? What's up, Ramin? Good, Ramin. Good, I prefer her anyways. No, just playing around. As we go, man, traders stay late. Join me tonight for the recap show. Glad to be back to be doing that. I want to thank Neil for filling in, of course, for me the last couple of days. And I've got good news.
What's up?
Although I'm off on Friday, scheduling note, I'm coming back, baby. I will be back live for the podcast this coming Friday. So I will be on the podcast Friday, flying in on the private jet, coming in Friday afternoon. So we'll be here for that. That should be a lot of fun. And I just want to thank everybody for continuing to support the pod. And I think that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And so I'm not going to get emotional because it's already done. But today, my daughter, after she got them on in April, the braces, they gone. And damn, she's even more beautiful than I remember her. And shout out to my wife for that one. But like, I sent it to my father and he's like, you know, like you think that I'm emotional? Like this man is full-blooded Italian and he is like that, especially with his grandkids. So anyways, like, I don't know, but that's going to be pretty special. So I'm very, very proud of her. She has hockey tonight, hockey tomorrow, hockey Thursday morning.
That's a packed
She's
schedule.
pretty insane.
Yeah.
And my son, very proud of him, of course, but he probably got my genes, so he's not super handsome. No, just joking, he's a very, very handsome guy. He won his chess. So the very first time that he ever joined and started playing with this group, and he took that down as well. So things looking up in our house, and thank God for that, because, you know, we want our kids. You always want the best for your kids.
Yeah, of course.
And you always want much,
I don't have any kids,
obviously.
but yes.
You always want much better than you have for yourself. So that's what I'm trying to do every single day here. And that's part of what fuels me to sit here and trade, is really just the family and everything like that. And she called me right before the show, and it really meant a lot. So the braces have come off.
Nice.
So she's super happy about that. As
Those things can get pretty annoying, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I'm
it's
glad
finally a relief to kind of that's solid, man.
And I actually asked, this is funny because this might be Italian too. I asked the orthodontist for a cash discount early.
Yeah.
I actually was able to get something like that. So that was pretty good. Yeah, we got the
Yeah,
Italian
yeah.
credit card going on there. Yeah, cash, no tax, or cement shoes. You choose. But anyways, one of those things came through there, and that was really nice. So yeah, all right, here we go. Just took some more out on Palantir as that cracked a little bit below. We are now 4 minutes until the imbalances do come out. So there it is, man. Taking some more outs as we get back to the downside here. And what a fantastic day this has been so far. Let's just start to wrap them up. We don't really want to be in position, Obi.
Yeah, I'm not in anything right
As I could see, you're not in it, so that's good. Heading
Can't find
into these imbalances, but we'll see. We'll see. Apple trying to make moves, I guess.
Yeah. Again, like I said, nothing really moving around in the action that I want to look for. 137, Google. We already kind of interacted with that. Amazon's not really doing anything.
I did actually offer to pay in Bitcoin. Someone just said, Ryan said, like, Sean offered to pay in Dogecoin. I offered Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't have that much Dogecoin.
And what did they say? What did the orthodontist?
Well, she happens to be like a really good friend, so.
Okay. So she accepted the Bitcoin.
No.
Oh, okay.
Probably charge me more. So, I got the friends and family discount. You know what I'm saying? Didn't you just hear the discussion that we just had? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we got some discounts there, but
Nice.
not much. You know what I was thinking?
What's up?
I apologize. Like I know you were talking about something,
no,
but I just get on
you're
these
good.
stupid tangents.
I'm listening.
The thing is I really feel like if I could do it all over again, I would become an orthodontist. And you know why? I don't know if I could do all the schooling and everything. Because the thing is that it is a little bit gross.
Yeah,
I do
you
agree.
spend all day in people's mouths.
It's not that. It's not that. Every single time, it's kind of like being a funeral director. Every single time someone is born, you have a new customer if you're an orthodontist.
Yeah.
No, seriously. There's not one person that has perfect teeth. Like I had braces, my wife had braces, like everybody besides Ramin, sorry Ramin. Everybody out there, if you go to see an orthodontist, they're going to tell you you need work. That is 100% it. And I just feel like that's a great business. So shout out to all the orthodontists out there.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's a fantastic business. And I'm telling my kids to get into it because, again, everyone's looking. People get butt implants. People
the BBLs.
I see you're quite familiar with this. So the thing is that people get those, man. They get cheek implants. They get what I should have got, hair implants. All this kind of stuff, you know? So I just feel like cosmetic surgery, let alone your mouth, I think that's very important. I love the orthodontist business.
Yeah, no.
Is there a stock I can invest in? Is orthodontics?
Plastic surgeons definitely making some serious bank especially down in the States. I know some people in Florida that are living the life right now.
Yeah.
Because for that very reason, the high demand in those areas. Again, I guess California as well.
The thing is too, it takes a lot of education. Like it's not like you just say. It's not like, oh, I'm going to be an orthodontist. Like it's not like. It's not all about that. To become a trader, I think sometimes you just need to be a little, and then maybe it'll work out for you. So we'll sit here. All right, only a minute left. Smile Direct Club. Oh yeah, this is the same person, by the way, that told me to short Smile Direct Club until it's dead.
Yeah, I heard those guys keep messing people's teeth up.
No, it's not that. She was just saying that it's competition for them. So I was like, yeah, no wonder you don't like the stock. But no, just. Things are so much more complicated than that, man. I know Invisalign, Sharif talks about it, and I'm sure it's been great. There's lots of opportunities for all of that, but Smile Direct Club I don't know what it is right now, but it's been getting hit, SDC. Okay,
I don't think it's,
all right.
Did it get delisted? Because I don't really see it.
It's not delisted. Smile Direct Club?
OTC?
Is it already?
I think so.
SDC.
Not there.
Yeah, SDDCQ. Yeah, it is here.
It's an OTC.
Wow, she was dead right. I could have made everything back. All right, so she was right. So I don't.
Wow, it's pretty much zero.
No, it is zero. It's 0.0005 cents. Not even trading. All right, the market imbalances are now out. Man, now I feel bad, man. I could have just paid for those braces by simply shorting Smile Direct Club. Crazy. All right, Apple's there with a bid. So here goes Apple. Let's see if there's anything happening right there. Nice move up for Apple. Brendo, give me the goods. It is $2 billion to buy. What? Did I read that right the first time? Wait a second. Yeah, it was $5 million to sell. Came out $2 billion to buy. Say what?
On Apple?
No, just in general, the market direction, buy side. Microsoft with a big buy, Apple with a big buy, Uber with a buy, your boy Amazon, which was, oh my God, I was bidding 31s. It got down there to 33. We'll see if we still get that fill coming through. Palantir's a nice buy. This is why we get out and we get out good on some of these names. So let's just start to clear it out as there is some buy imbalances. Let's just take out Amazon, man. You got to be happy with this. If we can get a bid on Amazon, we'll take it. Right now, let's just bid some 49s as forget it. I'm going to punch out right there. We'll get some 52s. Close that trade on Amazon. It's not going to look good, but it's okay. We only had 20% left. It would have been better to get 20 cents better, but we missed out on that one. Palantir as well. Let's just start to clean this out. If we get 95s, we'll take them all out, excuse me. So hopefully we can get that one. Uber at the 200 period. Let's just start cleaning it out. It's because it came as a buy and I was net short, so a lot of them aren't going to age that well, but I'm still pretty happy with everything. There it is, man. We got out of, there we go. We're out of Uber on the way down. We're out of Palantir. I mean, come on, we got to be happy with this short as well. And SoFi, I'm just going to cancel everything and get out of all of this as all my stops will now cancel and we'll just get out of everything. And as you can see, we're lightly exiting all of these trades. So we'll put a bid out on SoFi, get out here at 92 if we can, and take this Lyft trade out somewhere around where we are right now. Lyft, not a great stock today. I'll be back for you tomorrow, Lyft.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, I guess, Apple as well. Apple kind of pushing towards its highs. So is Softy, but Google kind of the only one who flushed on that imbal. Amazon picking up as well. Again, those the buyers at 153.30 kind of sustain even through that imbal, and we push back up into the churn that we've been doing for 30 pennies for the past, say, since about 1 o'clock there on the Amazon. But definitely interesting here. No real significant tickers on the imbal when it comes to NQ here that I'm seeing. But yeah, Amazon is a 1 million buy there, but it's done about 32 million. So it's that's like negligible in terms of whether or not it can be dealt with or not. But yeah, no, I think I saw somebody in the chat saying, I think it was Zoltan or something, saying that, oh, I'm never going to understand this imbal-ish. Yeah, it's like, I hate this imbal, I will never understand this ish. Okay, well, I mean, here's the thing, man. If you have that kind of attitude, then you're not even taking the first steps to try and understand it, right? You have to have a little bit of an open mind to kind of embrace things that maybe you don't understand, and that always opens the door for learning as well, learning new things. And imbal is definitely an interesting and important part of the market structure, and I think understanding how that kind of works. Again, I'm trying to learn as well. I'm not really I don't really fully understand it to my fullest abilities just yet, but you know what? It is valuable market information, and you can take potential trades off of it as well.
How about this? Tomorrow at 3:40, we will discuss imbalance locator.
Sure. Yeah.
And we'll talk about what it's all about, okay?
Sounds
Because
good.
right now we just don't have enough time to do that. But, you know, right on cue, I'll be perfect right into this. So, you know, again, we're just going to wrap up the trading day now. We don't have any positions on. So let's just talk about something for real. And that is the campus program here at Day Trade the World. So it's campus.daytradetheworld.com. You're going to start your trading journey. You have to be a Canadian citizen. Join the community, man. Again, you start in TMS, you work your way all the way to live. It only requires 8+ hours a week. 16 hours a week in total would be the maximum. And then after that, it's up to you, man, how many hours you want to sit in front of a screen. I mean, for me, it can be a lot. We do trade, you know, 24 hours a day. There are restrictions on the program, so make sure you check it out. And if you are interested, just hit apply now, no matter where you are located. But it is only a live trading program for those of us located here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. What's up, Brandon? What up, Brando?
What's happening?
Later.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
For coming through with that one as well, right? Brendan just had to clear his throat there. He had to get that going. So, yeah, again, thanks to Frank. If you were looking for some more fixed income, I think he talked about the yen USD as well, some USD talk there in rates and just overall.
Currency's been moving. I've noticed, again, the Japanese USD kind of in the news as of late as well. I think he was talking about that. Interesting price. I know absolutely nothing about Forex, but just looking at the chart, some interesting price action as of late. Again, something I have no idea about, but would like to learn in the future as well. But yeah, no, coming into the close here with only about 5 minutes left to go, don't really see anything on my charts. But here's the thing, something I do see is the ES and the NQ are making brand new highs 5 minutes into the close. That's absolutely crazy there. That 17,000 finally breaking out, and the NQ and the ES kind of doing this massive move into the close. 1720s. 17,020 coming in on the NQ, and then we're pushing that 4820 as well, going into that couple points away from that on the ES. So yeah, going forward this week, having a very strong close on a Tuesday, I'm definitely going to be interested in that. Yes, Chuck Robertson, all-time record highs indeed on these equities. Who would have thunk? We would have came all the way back in January, but end of year, 12 months later, we are definitely back. And Apple blasting off towards its highs, 197 potentially coming in. Am I going to get that trade in the last 3 minutes? I don't know.
There was that buy imbalance. There was that.
Yeah, exactly. There was that buy imbalance as well. I'm not going to take a trade. I'm just joking there.
All right, let me just say bye to everybody quickly. People are asking, will the market be up or down tomorrow? Mr. Westermeyer was here yesterday. Let me ask this to see. My call is I think we could be down for a down day. You tell everybody what that says.
Where did it go? Did I mess it up? Is that?
It said hell yes.
Okay, here.
It said hell yes.
It changed up. It says only if Neil raps.
Wow, Neil's not here, so that would be a no.
So that changes up pretty quickly.
You screwed this up.
I'm sorry.
All right, it was hell yes right there that we are in for a red day.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll turn these guys around.
Yeah, these guys have been a little.
The 8-ball has not necessarily been able to predict anything correctly. So, anyways, let's look for a little bit of a pullback. It's 3:58. I'm gonna go over to the big desk. FedEx earnings on tap.
Thank you.
Take us into the close.
Thank you, Sean, for all the knowledge he drops and for showing us all your trades all day, man. That's pretty solid information and value. Again, like I say, watching experienced traders trade. Not too many places you can be getting that. It's like watching over the shoulder and getting that live, almost pretty much mentorship. Again. Flowing, going with your ideas, going against them as well, and seeing what happens, seeing that story unfold, seeing the trades unfold. definitely decent value in my opinion. Kind of their stocks blasting towards their highs, still pushing up into this close. That's definitely interesting there. No real trades for me. Let me know what you guys have traded. Yes, Melanie, FedEx earnings after hours there. Tune into the market recap with Sean, and he's going to be covering that move there on FedEx. As well, so don't go anywhere, guys. We only got about 2 minutes left, and I'm looking at some of the names you guys are mentioning in the chat. Dave saying he traded Boyle. Yeah, nat gas moving around. We took a look at that a little bit earlier as well. Mark Wagner saying just lose money with CNBC. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Hood, Riot. Yeah, a lot of crypto names moving around as well. I think somebody talked about Coin, right? Coin after hours. Let's see what Coin has been up to. I know it had a strong push in the morning. I was watching that as well. Okay, so we kind of give back that whole move and then rip right back through. So that this little bit of a consolidation happening here on Coinbase in and around 155 to 162. A bit of a nice 7-point move consolidation or a churn happening on Coinbase there. Let's see how this setup goes on going forward into the week. Maybe potential for new highs on the week past this 162, right? Now with only about 15 seconds left, and I see Adara running to the bell there. I got to time this properly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Boom. We close at the highest point in the market today, 17,020 points, kind of pushing above. So again, thank you for spending your time with us today. Hope you guys got some value out of this. And yeah, without any further ado, I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Sean's at the big desk with the market recap. Have fun. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Obi. It is now a closing all-time high there on the S&P and the NASDAQ? NASDAQ, yeah, NASDAQ for sure. S&P, no, I don't think so yet, as I'm just hearing some stuff in my ear right now. And what a good day it's been. Thank you so much for joining me here as traders stay late. It is now 4 o'clock, and we close at those highs. I feel like I'm missing, I don't know if this is the exact right layout, but look at this, man. Every single sector today, green. Is that right? USO up 2% today. XRT up 2%. The TAN, I feel like this is a completely different layout, but this is all good. We're happy to go. FedEx coming through today. We are brought to you by Benzinga. Get Benzinga Pro right now as well. Any news that drops here, especially about FedEx, will be showing up. We also do have what's out to trade ideas, as we will just hit refresh. They're both running. Anything that hits here in the aftermarket will show up right here on our scanner. It is trade ideas scanner. So anything here, got to push play, Sean, and push play. There we go. So as they start to load up here, anything moving in the aftermarket, I should be identified with that. So far so good here in what was, again, another bang up day. Let me just log into my platform here. The NASDAQ hung around all afternoon at 17,000, only to close above that level and get going again here. Putting in my passwords. Here we go. Let's look at some of these levels. Where are the triple Qs? Let's just type it in right now. QQQ. This is the break higher. There it is, 409. Let's drop this down to a weekly because you guys are like, nah, whoopsies, that's my layout. We're not at all-time highs, are we? Let's go over to the weekly chart and have a quick look at that. And there it is right there. That's what we're talking about. We're going all the way back to last November before this move all the way back in. That's that top. Then we had those doldrums of last year. It was only a year ago right now when we were all like, oh man, what are we going to do? Santa, coal in our stocking, so on and so forth. This year, man, get those fake diamonds out because it is an all-time high right now for the NASDAQ, as there it is, the drop down into 263. This was just a year ago. So this was 2021, right? We weren't a year ago at all-time highs. A year ago, we were at those bottoms that we were just talking about. This goes all the way back to 2021. So it round trips us all the way back up, reminding me of that gold trade. Look what gold looks like, same ways, right? This goes all the way back to 20. Nice round trip for gold, topping out as well near the highs. What else is going on, man? USO. Look, we talked about it over and over again. Why not pick up some oil? We saw Oxy down there at 55. We saw XOM at 97 XOM. Today closing near 103. Let's find out what's going on in the oil patch there today as some energy names starting to get bumped up. Look at XOM. XOM again, look at this on the weekly chart. This is a name where you can get that 3 or 4% dividend if we come over to the screen. Thank you. Look at this level right here. Buying that dip. Yes, sir. Should be doing that. I have not. But look at that. Nice little level there for XOM. What about Chevron again? As buybacks are at record highs right now, or at least they were last month, Chevron and XOM definitely helping that out. Look at this move back up, and then look at Oxy. Remember, these are weekly charts that I'm showing you here on the daily. Like, look at some of these levels, man. You're going back years before you're able to find value like this. I don't know. I was talking with Randy about oil, and I'm not sure how much I want to be invested in oil right now. It's definitely not the future, but hey, we can't produce anything right now without production manufacturing plants, which are all running on oil. It's not like we're getting anywhere close to all of those being solar or electric or anything. So the EV space is one thing, manufacturing production is another. But the thing about oil is, as we start to get hit in China, you've seen FXI downside. We've seen GDP, although their numbers keep coming out a little bit better than expected, but they're also not guiding forward and they're not releasing key data. If China doesn't like a data point, they're just not releasing it. They've come out and told us that. Let's look at FXI here on a daily. This is, again, another little problem spot for me. This is the ETF, right? China 100 cap ETF. Again, nice levels. Looks like we could be basing out. I feel like if you want to invest in something, this is yet to go. Not many ETFs that I'm going to show you are going to be underneath the 50 period or the 200 period, let alone this far removed. Maybe I should ask Brian about this one. Is FDX out yet? So we'll keep on waiting for FedEx to come through here. We will check it out on Benzinga. So I actually have it on a separate window here. Is FDX out? I do not see it yet. I do not see any crazy movements. We did have a closing price down there at 280. Looks like maybe someone fat fingering this up to 282. If FedEx comes out, we will watch that. And again, a harbinger maybe for future growth. If FDX can come out and guide forward, I feel like that's great for the Christmas season. Do they know something that we don't? Do they have orders in the pipeline for FedEx? Are they seeing more shipping requirements coming through? I like FedEx. Look at the move on the daily. I mean, again, this is why we try to respect 200 period moving averages, right? FedEx comes into 229, now back up to 282. Where are we on an all-time high basis here for FedEx? So you're going to look at this level of 321. There it is. Uh-oh. FedEx coming out. NEPA. Not great report here for FedEx. It looks like it's a nice hit down into 270. Where was that level from our friend Brian Shannon? He tweeted out, what was it, 260? Remember, we got him, well, he offered to do it. There it is right there, 260, 258 or so for an anchored VWAP level for FDX. So there it is, anchored to the October low. We're going to have Brian come on really soon now as FedEx is out right now. Doesn't look like they hit, man. 265. Brian's level was what? 258. So there's the bottom, 262. Let's see where FedEx goes. What are the numbers for FDX? Let me just call it up for Benzinga if I can find it, and I cannot. I have lost. Oops. You won't believe what just happened. I just closed everything for my Chrome. So that's nice. I'll have to get that loaded up. But there's FedEx, nice little downside move. Give me 1 second as, you know, the best part about this is the history tab but now I'm not logged in as myself. Oh my God, this is going to be quite a disaster here temporarily. So just bear with me here as we'll go history. There it is right now, my last 6 tabs as we get Benzinga out. This is what happens when you are doing live here for everybody. So here's Benzinga, let's go. Now I need it to load up. Let's see what those numbers are exactly for FedEx. And I appreciate the patience from everybody. All right, there it is, FDX Q2. 399, there it is. You can see in red. Thanks, Benzinga, for this one. Missing 419. So 399 on the Q2 EPS versus 419. That's a miss. Also sales, 22.2 billion, missing 22.4. Again, I like it. Nice move down. Brian Shannon. Someone just said in the chat, Brian Shannon, right again. That's not necessarily right. He was just giving some levels of interest down there. But yes, it looks like they're going to miss. Let's check out what UPS is doing also. So there we go. In sympathy, UPS downside, right? UPS definitely has not been as strong as FedEx on that recent move. So UPS bringing it back in. Watch out for 150. UPS and FedEx, really the two bellwethers there in this space. So we'll watch out for that 149, 150 as a possible bouncing spot for UPS. But right now, only dipping down to 159. There's FedEx on the earnings call. Downside. There it is, 264, and looking like it wants to move just a little bit lower. I'm not seeing really anything else happening here too much as we go, but that's what that is coming through. All right, what was something that was low? UNG. Look, UNG down to 490, man. So much gas supply out there. Not only is gas, the supply is over, it's also when you get an oversupply, regardless of what demand is, you're going to get lower prices. And again, fracking just produces free gas. So like, it's not super expensive to get gas out of the ground, especially when it's a byproduct. Just watch out for UNG, man. It's so warm around here. We just basically got our first sort of snow day. It's not even cold. I mean, looking at it's 0 degrees. So basically melted probably outside. And I don't know what kind of a winter we're going to get, but I'm pretty sure 2023 was the warmest year on record. Go double check that. I think that now that I say that, that might be wrong. But go double check that. I think it's pretty darn close to that. Not that that matters for UNG. I mean, natural gas is used for everything. But again, if we're going to get lower demand on the heating side, yeah, definitely with an outside supply, UNG downside, but still up today, Shaking my head with SMH, but I'm only shaking my head because, wow, look at that. We talked about 200 period. I said you're not going to find a better 200 period gap down, or not even gap down, but move down than this. Nicely done. I actually sold today some NVIDIA. We will talk more about it. Maybe on the podcast, we could talk about some longer term positions, but I don't have a problem talking right now. We actually sold some NVIDIA today at this level right now, 494, I think it was, and change. So we did have a nice move up to end the day, up at 496. But again, just think it's getting top heavy. We could miss this run. I mean, if it continues to go, fine. We only had like 50, 60 shares of it. We sold like 10%, something like that, of NVIDIA. So we'll wait to see where this goes. I did buy some SMH. I'm in NVIDIA, and I'm also in Intel for the space. So what else moving around today? The TLT, the 20-year, okay. So the 20-year has been obviously rocking. We did have those Ackman that closed out some of his bond and treasury positions. You've seen a nice move up in TLT. That closing down there looks like that's right on that one. Nice rally back, man. Again, Treasury yields making moves. Nice one there for TLT, up to the upside on that. OIH, IBB, again, I really like some Moderna. Where's Pfizer right now? We like that. Pfizer back up to 20. I didn't even realize that. We recently bought some Pfizer down there as well. 26, 27, nice job. I like Moderna. I haven't bought any, but I like Moderna down here in the 70s. I really like the vaccine talk, not the vaccine talk, sorry. The technology behind mRNA and working for COVID vaccines, fine, if that's your thing. I like the technology of mRNA. Possibly they had a story last week about cancer and trying to solve some of those variants. I really think that hey, every single one of us, I could probably say this, has been touched by somebody in their life, either battling cancer or, heard a story about it. So I really think that that's a technology that we can get behind. mRNA. IYR, man, the real estate ETF. Hello, that one goes boom. XHB. Have you guys ever seen this stock, man? Toll Brothers, highs. Lennar, highs. XHB, see you later. Warren Buffett, man, the rich get richer. I was going to say the wealthier, but yeah, nice move to the upside there. $95 for XHB. Look at this. Huge move up there for this one. Let's check back in on FDX. And are they talking about anything right now? Okay, here it is. So FDX again, still hitting lows. Brian, man, I see this guy waiting in the wings. Wow, that call there. I mean, as if he's not a legend already. Like, look, like this comes back in. This 260 coming into play, the 20-period DMA. We're going to find out why Brian looked at the 20, and then what about Anchor VWAP from that bottom of the October lows. Nailed it. Possible retracement level area. And again, this is from Brian, man, area of interest. You don't necessarily want to buy VWAPs. I have a couple trades today on VWAP. My best was Uber. That was fantastic. We can talk about it. As a day trade, I like to look at it as support and resistance for sure, but I definitely like to see some action around it before you make your bet. So that's the one thing that I learned from him, the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Shannon, on deck in a couple minutes. Look at this. I don't know what this exact price is. He's going to have it for me probably, but I'm going to say it's like 257, 258. So now let's have a quick look at this one. 260 we've dropped down into. FedEx pulling back in. And again, look, it's going to match it with the 50-period moving average as well, 255. Then you have the 200 down here at 244. I like it. It's FedEx. It's on a miss. But what does Benzinga have to say about this? So I just saw them right here. All right, so there's adjusted outlook. So they're seeing forward 24 between 17 to 1850. But look at that. That's on the low end. And maybe can I zoom this in a little bit? Okay, there it is. So there it is right here, right? So here's FedEx. Oh, I don't want to miss it. There it is right there. See this? 17 to 1850. And now I got to, see, I zoomed a little bit too much. So, oh no, where is it? Right there. There it is here. Versus, oh no, that's the miss. Where is it? Sorry guys, right here. 17 to 1850 versus 1825. So see, what's up with that bottom mark there? Like if you're going to give that far of a range, like that's a big miss, man. 17 to 1850, right? As opposed to 1825. I feel like that variance probably hitting the name to the downside. So let's watch out for that. Virgin Galactic launches into the new year with January commercial flight for Virgin Galactic. Let's see if that's moving that name around again. SPCE. I didn't think they were, not doing anything. So probably as reported. That almost got down to $1. That dollar bump, man. Virgin Galactic could double up. Probably think that's a short, but nice little double up there from that bottom. Wasn't that funny about Smile Direct on the midday show there? I was talking about my daughter getting her braces off, and then I was like, I should have just traded Smile Direct. SDC is now gone. It's 000 cents. It's like on the pink sheets. A very negative name there for Smile Direct. So again, could have paid for her orthodontics by just shorting that name. Okay, that's about it, man. I feel like it's been a pretty good day here. We've gone over some of the sectors. Again, I don't have anything in the red. I'm going to have to find out. I feel like I'm missing this. Let me know if there are any red sectors out there because there has to be a few. And you know what? Look, before we have Brian come on, look at this trade because I'm going to call him Brian on a second. This trade on Uber, this was a great trade off Vwap load. Oh no, I'm going to have to edit this live with you guys on here. Sometimes when we do jump back and forth from stations here, we do have to edit some of these wicks. Look at this. Here's VWAP. So again, Uber with a nice move up. I've just been looking short on Uber today and for a while because I actually sold some Uber. This bounce up definitely due to the S&P 500 inclusion. Now that's over with. I feel like we could sell off a little bit for Uber. You're also double topping up here at 65. It goes back, but we waited. Look at this test. So this is, again, this is what we're talking about. Now I have, again, the VWAP man is coming, so I shouldn't even be talking about VWAP. But look at this test there on VWAP, right? Bounce back up. You get another test right there, VWAP bounce back up. But we failed to break and make new highs on those VWAP tests. So then next time when it broke, I just said to myself, sometimes you talk to yourself as a trader, why not short this against these highs? So we did that, and the rest, as they say, is history. Let's bring him in. It's my friend, Brian Shannon. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for joining me one more time here today. And man, you're just upping the game. That FedEx call, thank you so much for tweeting that out, because after we had talked, it was like, what are we going to talk about? How about FedEx earnings? What a great look on that one. And how's your day going?
My day's good. I mean, everything's working, Sean. It's hard to lose money.
Sometimes we look much smarter than we are, I feel like, Brian. That may not be the case for you because I know you're quite a smart individual, but I feel like the bull run's been here, and I've been talking about this, sold some names in my own account today, just feel like we're getting a little frothy. I don't know, heading into the new year. I know I'm fighting the Santa Claus rally. Is Santa Claus rally something that you're always looking at?
Seasonally, yeah, this is just one of my favorite times of year to trade. Last year, I think, was the exception to the rule, but it's generally a very strong period for, in particular, a lot of the little stocks really start popping off big time. And my theory on that is that you've got big hedge funds that are just kind of running things, trying to get them to close a lot higher so they get a giant year-end bonus.
Yeah, hey, I can definitely feel that one, man. You know that 77% of the time, the last week, which is this week, it starts December 22nd, that's the Santa Claus rally. 77% of the time, it results in an up move for the market with an average move of 2.7%. Can you believe that in one week? That's absolutely amazing. All right, so on that note, Brian, I have your book somewhere. By the way, I was showing it on the show Into the Close. Fantastic book. I'm going to go find it. Obi, could you bring that book over here when you get a chance? All right, let's talk about the anchored VWAP. I see that you have it up on FedEx. For anyone joining us right now, let's discuss where you anchored it and why.
Okay, FedEx, it's pretty easy. So, one of the most important places to anchor is from significant highs and lows. So we have, of course, the October low, and that is the biggest, that's what set this whole rally off, or where it came from. So when we see it sell off strong, first I look at a 20-day moving average. I'd also pointed out this prior band of resistance coming into there. So that was definitely a potential level of support. And one of the comments on X was, it has strong support at 270. And I said, well, wait a minute, slow down. Let's see what happens at 270. Right. Support is only known after the fact, and we have these levels of interest. So with the 20-day moving average and that prior resistance, it certainly was a level of interest. We could also take a look at, maybe, I haven't done this yet, but even a Fibonacci off of here, and you can see, well, that 263 was 38.2, so there's really not much significant there, but we're getting close to this anchor down at 258-ish.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Shout out to Henry, shout out to Roger, Chris Spix, and everything. They're loving how you nailed that level. Can I give you and this is probably going to be a yes, I hope it is anyways. Can I give you a name on the fly here? Because you just mentioned
Always.
Good, perfect. You just mentioned a couple names, a couple things about some little names that have been flying around. I'll give you a second to check out Carvana, CVNA. I mean, that name, if you come over to my screen here and let Brian just load it up for himself, but like, wow, Brian, what a move. You want to talk about a name. This name is up 50% in about a week. That bottom of 40 looking pretty nice, but look what we're doing right now. We did take it out. We took out 56, 57. I'm going to draw, and this is going to go, the week's going to look silly because we had a huge move up, obviously during COVID, and everyone was like, hey man, putting cars in vending machines is real cool. But Carvana had a huge move up there as everyone thought there's no way we're ever getting back into any kind of a dealership, but obviously that was proven wrong. Carvana, nice move up. Also, Brian, a beautiful short float at 34.6%, which is definitely creating some upsize moves that potentially aren't in the price, but definitely could squeeze traders out. So again, I don't think this is a name moving on earnings or anything like that. It's been squeezed. It has a nice move to the upside. Traders love this name. What do we see here on Carvana?
Here, if we can take a look at my screen, it's pretty good again here that we had that failure here from September. It was in a strong downtrend below the declining 20-day moving average. Then we started to see it turn sideways a little bit. It hopped up on whatever this news was here 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and it got back above the anchored VWAP from this high right here. That's that purple one. And then it came right to the anchor from this high right here and kind of pinched between those. And then once it broke free of this little consolidation, then it's been off to the races. And we've got a super strong trend here. We're above a rising 5-day moving average. I would anchor right now to the beginning of this move and say, that's where the buyers are still in control in the intermediate term, as long as it continues to ride that rising 5-day moving average and the anchor from the beginning of the move.
So, I mean, I know getting back out, that will be about it looks to be about a 10, 15% move back to the downside. Is that something that, because I know there's some traders asking right now, if they're long Carvana right here, is that, I mean, I think we can use those levels possibly as some support, like you just mentioned. Maybe that's where, if we lose those levels, give it a day or so, and then we get out. I like the solid level of 50. I mean, I'm just looking over there at your charts as we speak. Maybe we can go to Brian's screen again. Like, just that level right there of $50. I know you're drawing this here as we go, but to me, that's looking like just a great level of support down there. Plus, we got some confluence, shout out to Obi, with your VWAP and the moving average there. Why is that? What moving average? That's a 65 period moving average. What do you got going on there with the orange?
Yeah, this is, I think we've discussed this before, Sean. It's the 5-day moving average. So I'm looking at a 30-minute time frame, and there are 13 30-minute periods per day, 9:30 to 10, 10 to 10:30, etc. So 13 of those in one day times 5 days, 65 periods equals 5 days. So this is the true 5-day moving average at any point during the day. In other words, it's getting rid of the data, from right here. That's the beginning of where we were 5 days ago. Tomorrow morning, we'll get rid of this, and that 5-day moving average will continue to rise here as well.
So I know look, I have so many questions about Anchor Vwap, but I have your book right here. This is what we're talking about right now. Everyone can go on your website, find it on Amazon. It's absolutely fantastic. But do we often just anchor the VWAP to the beginning of the move, especially if we're swing trading like you did there on Carvana? You said that move started in and around 38. That's a good spot because often, obviously we're talking to you, so anchored VWAP is your thing. It can be hard for traders like us to figure out where especially on a move like this, where do we anchor it? So maybe we can look at SoFi as an example because that's had a really great move as well. And I'm gonna guess that in and around maybe 650 is where we could anchor that, or possibly if we're going to anchor it near the top of that 1150 that goes all the way back to the middle of the summer. Like, I'm just wondering, are we on the right pace here about where we might be thinking about laying these anchors?
Sure. So on the 30-minute time frame, for instance, we just saw this strong breakout here last week, and that's very similar to what we just looked at in Carvana. So we anchor from the beginning of that move. That's where we saw a shift in supply and demand, and you can see it pulled back almost precisely to that after this big run here, and buyers stepped up again. So at that point, we see what we can do is do a handoff. In other words, a new momentum campaign began right there. So we can anchor at this point, and now that allows us to get a little bit tighter on our stops and that sort of thing, rather than maybe having it way down here. Maybe you want to raise your stop up successively under the higher lows with this anchored VWAP.
Geez, Brian, those are some absolutely fantastic levels, and those are two names that traders are often interested in. All right, you hit that. You were talking about the IBB and looking for. I asked you last time, so where is there some value? And it was IMGN. You mentioned that you were out of that one as that sort of blew up. Is there anything right now that maybe we can just sort of show, not necessarily your positions or anything, but anything that's looking interesting to you that traders might be able to look at over the next couple of days?
Yeah, so I'm in a bunch of winners, which there's no point talking about those because they're already on their way. But ASC, so some of the shippers have been strong. And you can see this blue line is the year-to-date anchor. We're above a 20, the 50, and the 200. The 200 is declining, but this is where we were 200 days ago right here. So that will start to flatten out. But if you look at the weekly time frame, it's really looking like it's just begun a new move here that might be seeing it heading up towards these highs of $16, $17 per share. So that's one good one to keep an eye on. I think gold has made its pullback and is now getting ready to go again. We had a strong shakeout in GDX, and one of the names there, I don't really like to trade these names, but FSM is a good-looking little one here. This it's a silver miner, so you can see the anchor off of this all-time high, or at least the high of 2021, has been holding this stock back. Now it's looking like it could be getting ready to go again. Fubo still has my interest down here. Fubo is holding this prior band of resistance, is holding his support. So that one is getting ready, it looks like. Mobileye, it's just amazing, Sean, that there's still so many stocks that are setting up for a potential big move. DBRG is one of them. Here, nice base, getting ready to maybe get going in the next week or two. So it's amazing that with all the strength we've seen, that we still have stocks setting up in a low risk way.
I really like the Mobileye look there, because Mobileye, again, a name that who's over there? For me? Oh, there it is. Mobileye, a name that again is in the right space. I like that name, and so many ideas. That silver name, very good. Fortuna, great name there as well. As we continue, okay, Brian. In case I don't see you, obviously, Have a very happy holiday, but I have a very, very important question to ask you. And that is, are you a artificial tree or a real tree kind of guy?
We have an artificial tree. I kill enough trees by printing these books.
Okay, you win again. We used to be artificial. We've gotten real. I just like going out and hacking those trees down. And but it's not an environmental thing. I asked the farmer. He said he plants 2 trees for every one that they sell. But happy holidays to you and yours, Brian. And really looking forward to a very prosperous 2024. And I want to thank you again for joining me on the recap show.
Same to you and all the audience, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Brian. That's Trader Talk. That's Brian Shan. Again, Brian is just, honestly, this is what we're doing on the show. Like, we're trying to bring real ones to you. Like, it doesn't take, I just asked him, what were some ideas that you maybe had? Boom, 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 boom. Like, unlimited amount of ideas. And again, so super smart with the anchored Vwap. Definitely, if your Trade Ideas has it. I was going to say, if your platform doesn't, make sure that ours, we're working on it to get it on our platform as well. Our charting is not the greatest, but we do use Trade Ideas here. Make sure you subscribe to that if you are interested. Okay, man, that was fantastic. What's next? My tweets. I don't care about my tweets, but let's go have a quick look at them real quick. Then we'll do roll call, and we'll wrap it up because we only got a minute left. And Ramin, she don't play, so we got to get out of here pronto. All right, let's find out what I was tweeting about earlier. Oh, by the way, we are live right now on X. So shout out to everybody following and watching us right now on X. So thank you so much for that. All right, there's the FTX. Well, how about this one? Did you guys know this? What's up, Charlie? 58% right now of US households own stocks. The highest percentage on record. Is that, maybe we'll talk about this on the podcast. Is that a pause for concern? I feel like, all households should own some stocks. I don't know. And I do feel like maybe it is like a first world problem. Like, if you have enough capital out there, obviously you'd like to own stocks. And I do know that there is a potential that, hey, look, we got bills to pay. I can't put money into stocks. But that 58% is pretty interesting to me. And I just feel like when you're turning on the news and all you're hearing about, and you're going to hear more about it today, NASDAQ at all-time highs, people run to buy those things. It's just like Bitcoin, right? I don't get any questions about Bitcoin when it's at 15,000, but people sure ask about buying it at 40,000. So I wonder about that, maybe getting a little top heavy if we're at those record highs. So shout out to that post that we had right there as well. All right, another one that I want to talk about. How messed up is this? Look at this, man. S&P 500, 2024 year end. So we are now a year out, okay? Look at this. Oppenheimer, good movie or not? 5,200 is their guess. Right now, the SPX, we obviously just talked about that, 48. So we're going to find out. Fundstrat, 52. But look at the difference down here. JP Morgan, 4,200. Morgan Stanley, 4,500. So let's just check out what we're at right now. We don't have SPX on here, right? No. So maybe someone can help me there in the chat. Hold on a second. I'm just going to call up SP 500, see where we did close at today. Yeah, so I just quick little Google search. I said 48. I didn't want to get too off. 47. So let's just call it 47.50 right now. So 47.50. So right now, Evercore saying we could get a flat year. So right now, the mean, I don't know where the mean is, but we're definitely higher there on the average, higher than where we are right now. Nice move to the upside. And we only have, I guess it's 4 right now. Wells Fargo, UBS, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan all calling for lower targets than where we are right now for next year. So I felt like that was pretty interesting. So to end up to Sean's tweets, one more as we go. And thanks to Dara for this. She finds a lot of these for me because at the end of the day, we're just like, okay, what are we doing? Percentage of stocks underperforming the S&P 500. So right now, the S&P is up 23% year to date. Let's go. That's a pretty good one, right? But 71% of stocks are under that 23%. So that's a Mag 7 problem. We already know about that. 71% of the stocks in the index are under that 23% mark. Is that a thing? I'm going to say no, not a thing. I just want to tweet that out because I thought it was interesting. And again, look, that's going to change, right? You can invest in the RESP, or the RSP, which is the equal weighted. index. If you think the S&P 500 has more room to go, but you don't agree with the weightings, you can get relative weighted indexes as well, both on the NASDAQ and on the S&P. All right, quickly, I'll do this real quick, I promise you, Ramin, but I'm here for the people. This Ramin is too much. Okay, here we go. It is live chat time. If you're here, man, thank you so much, because traders stay late and you stay late with me. So let's do a quick little roll call. If you're here, what's up? Okay, Bears vs. Bulls sent me the super chats of the day. I will look at that. So I got to say a shout out to Bears vs. Bulls, because without him, man, we'd have nobody anyways. So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls. All right, who's here? What's up, Henry Chung? Thank you so much. HPDS, you stayed late, man. It's 4:30. Is it that late? Come on, man. We can stay later. What's up to roll call from Bears? Juan Padilla's here. Super Spackman's here. Trey Only's here. John E is here. Sly's here. What's up to Ponzi Fonzie? You're here as well. Hey, man, 2,000 people are still here with us. So let's go. Roll, not roll. What does it say on there? It shouldn't say roll. That's misspelled, man. It's R-O-L-L. Roll call. Good call on that one. Igor, the Bears is here. What's up to R Gold is here. Mark M is here. Ben Hope is here. Ponzi's here. Lavenues is here. Salman Shah is here. Alman is here. Jermaine's here. Everybody's here. And we have the wrong spelling, but not on this. Thank you so much to everybody. It's been an absolutely fantastic day as you're able to sit here and trade with me all day. We did talk about the trade of the day. I really liked that Uber trade right there. I really like this Affirm trade, although we lost on it at the end of the day, Affirm. But we talked about this. Any kind of a deal with a Walmart, with an Amazon, with a Best Buy, we like it. Affirm's in those. Look at this move right there. Buying 47, getting the best outs there at 49.50, 49.60. Then we tried some longs at the end of the day that didn't really work, but we were able to get out of it before it made that move down into 50 bucks. So let's watch Affirm tomorrow at $50. Man, it's been a good day. I want to thank everybody again for joining us. We'll fix the spelling on that. Big thank you to Brian Shannon again for joining, and a thank you to everybody, because traders stay late. I got to drink some more water. I'm glad to be back, man. I'm here all week, and that's not going to change. That's a lie. I'm not here Friday, but I'm here for the podcast. All right, see you, everybody. Ciao.